Hello everyone, welcome to session 96 of Selenium training. In this session, I'm going to explain how to configure the browser configurations using Selenium. How to perform browser configurations using Selenium. So let's get started. So in this session guys, I will explain different browser configurations which can be done by Selenium on the below browsers. So the three browsers that I will be covering in this session are Firefox browser, Chrome browser, Internet Explorer browsers. Okay. So this session is about how to perform browser configurations using Selenium. How to perform browser configurations using Selenium. And as part of this, I am covering different browsers such as Firefox browser, Chrome browser, IE browser. So in all these three browsers, I am going to use Selenium for performing the browser configurations. In each and every browser, we are going to perform the browser configurations using browser configurations. We are going to perform on these browsers using Selenium. We are going to change the browser configurations, guys, using Selenium in this all these three browsers one by one. So what are the different browser configurations? What are the different browser configurations I am covering as part of this session? As part of this session, on all the above three browsers, I'll be performing browser configurations. The below this browser configurations I'm going to perform on all these three browsers, guys. So each and every browser I'm going to perform these browser configurations that are listed here. So first browser configuration that I'm going to do is browser logs. Okay, tracking the browser logs, then setting the path to the browser exe files, page load strategy. I'll explain, guys. You will not be able to understand what actually these are, but while I practically explain all these browser configurations, you will definitely understand them. Okay. For now, just understand these are the different browser configurations I am going to cover as part of these three browsers using Selenium. The first browser configuration is browser logs. Second is path to the browser exe files. Third one is page load strategy. Fourth, profiling, notifications, certificate errors, proxy settings. Okay, these are the different browser configurations I'm going to cover on all these three browsers using Selenium. So let's get started with the first browser, guys, that is Firefox. How to perform browser configurations on this Firefox browser using Selenium. I'm going to explain all these browser configurations. I'm going to explain as part of Selenium, guys. Selenium and on Firefox browser. Fine. So before going ahead on this Firefox browser, let's see whether I have the latest Firefox browser installed in my machine or not. Let me launch the Firefox browser and let me check the Firefox browser version and see whether that is kind of latest or not. Yeah, it's kind of latest, guys, up to date. Okay, you can update it to 64 if you want. It will become up to date. 64. This is a 63rd. So it's saying you can update to 64. Let me update to 64 version, which is kind of latest and compared to 63. Kind of restarting it. Yeah, Firefox browser is launching. After update, browser is getting launched. So we should have the 64th version, which is as per today is the latest, guys. Okay, as per today is the latest. Okay, let me go to help and see. This time I have 64 version, guys. This will be fine. Firefox is up to date. 64th version of Firefox and the Firefox is up to date. So no issues. Now I have the latest version of the Firefox browser installed in my machine. So I can peacefully continue with the next steps. Fine. The first browser configuration I am going to explain as part of this Firefox browser using Selenium is browser logs. Browser logs. So guys, before understanding what the logs are, let me first explain how the logs are displayed in the output console when I execute the scripts on the Firefox browser in Selenium. Okay, let me demonstrate that. After that, I will do some operations so that we can manage the logs. Fine. So let's get started. So let me open Eclipse IDE. In that, let me create a new project. New project. I'll be creating the Maven project. Select this Maven project. Click on next. Okay, let's wait. It's not responding. Let's wait. Yeah, the next wizard has come. Click on next again. With the default option, click on next. Now here, say browser configurations. Click on finish. Okay. So wait for some time until this reaches 100%. Just wait for this one to reach 100%. Thereafter, we will be opening this Maven project, which I created. Okay. So it's 100%. I'm just expanding the Maven project. I'll go to src test Java. I'll delete this app test.java, which came by default. Now I'll right click here on src test Java and say right click new. I'll say package. I'll give the same package name, that is QAFox browser configurations dot Firefox, I will say. Okay, like this. Under this package, I'll say right click new class. I'll name this class as demo class. I'm just creating this under the Firefox. Okay, let me create the main method. Public static void main string of Fox. So here I'm going to write some Selenium code, that is driver is equal to new. Which browser I want to launch the Selenium scripts in? Firefox browser. So Firefox driver I will say. I need to import this WebDriver and Firefox driver. But this is a very new project. It doesn't have this jar files added. So I will open the pom.xml file. So in this file, only one dependency is there, that is JUnit dependency. I need to add the Selenium Java dependencies to this. So for that, I will open one of my browsers and I will go to mvn repository.com. In the mvn repository.com, I will search for Selenium Java. Selenium Java. You click on the Selenium Java and I will go with this 3.14 version. Copy this, go to add under between the dependency tags. Add this particular dependency between this dependencies tags. Okay, I just added it in parallel to the JUnit. Save it. So the jar files are getting downloaded and will automatically configured in this particular project from this pom.xml file. That's done. So now let's go to the demo.java and hover the mouse on WebDriver. Now you see, since the jar files are updated automatically, you can import the WebDriver and Firefox driver class from the Selenium jar files. Now I need to set the driver path, right? For that, I'll go with the WebDriver manager, guys. Open any browser and say WebDriver manager. Search for WebDriver manager in any of the browsers, and you will get this Boni Garcia GitHub link. Open this one. Scroll down. Somewhere you will find the dependency tags for that WebDriver manager. So I'll again go to the pom.xml file and add that new dependency between the dependency tags. Save it. The jar files for the WebDriver manager will also get downloaded now. Done. Go to demo WebDriver manager dot Firefox driver dot setup. Okay, you don't have to download the exe file of the Gcode driver and then provide the path here before this statement. You don't have to do that. Okay, so instead we now have the WebDriver manager where you can simply write this statement that will take care of everything. Okay, you don't have to download the Gcode driver create a libraries folder, put it under that, and then provide the path, system.properties, and all those stuff. You don't have to do that. Simply just write the statement WebDriver Manager dot Firefox driver dot setup. That will work out. Fine. So now I'll say driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. Then I'll say driver dot get. I'll open this URL, that is http://www.tutorialsninja.com/demo. This application I will open, and then let me go to that application once. I'll write some Selenium code there. Okay. I will open. I will navigate to this application. After that, I want to type some text in this search box field. Right click, inspect this. So it has a name locator. Copy the value of this name attribute of this particular search box field. I will say driver dot find element by dot name. In this, I will paste the value of that name attribute. Then say dot send keys. What is the text I want to type into the text box field, search box field? I want to type Samsung text. Samsung. Then after typing the text, I want to click on this search icon. I'll inspect it again. It has some class, guys. So the class value is ending with FA search, and its tag name is I, and the class and its attribute value is ending with FA search. I'm just copying this FA search so that I will say Control F. Here I will say I class ends with FA search. Okay, it's getting highlighted. You see this CSS selector, guys. This CSS selector, and it is representing this particular icon you can see on the left side. Okay, IFA search. Copy the CSS selector. We'll click on this button. Okay, just directly clicking on that icon. Driver dot find element by dot CSS selector dot click. That's it. Okay, fine. Now I'll say thread dot sleep. I will wait for 3 seconds. For demonstration purpose only, I'm adding this. Sorry. Over the mouse and say this one. Then driver dot. I'll close the browsers. I'll close the browser. So guys, when I execute this one, I'll get some logs, guys. I'll get some logs. So in order to understand what actually the logs are, I will write after opening this Firefox browser, I will write something like this: system.out.println before logs, just for to see how the logs are getting displayed in the console. I am writing these statements after logs. Okay. When before logs gets printed, after that whatever that comes before after logs gets printed, that is all logs, guys. Okay. So let's save it and let me execute this code to see whether any logs are getting displayed in the output console when I execute this program in Firefox browser. Okay, you see the Firefox browser got launched. You see before logs, while the Firefox browser is getting executed, after 3 seconds, you see in between the before logs and after logs, there are some logs getting printed, guys. Okay, by default, there are some browser logs getting printed in the output console when I execute this program. Now, guys, using Selenium, I want to disable the logs. Whatever the logs that are getting displayed in between these before logs and after logs, I want to disable them. I don't want to get printed in the output console. How to do that? How to turn off these logs? For that, guys, we have some settings in Selenium. Using Selenium, we can do that, guys. So we have something like this. We have to add this statement. We have to add this statement to our Selenium program so that our logs will be turned off. So that is system.setProperty Firefox driver.systemProperty.browser log, browser underscore log is going null, common null. Okay. This is what we have to write in the program. So system dot set property. So Firefox driver dot system property dot browser underscore log file. Okay, browser underscore log file. Here I have to say I want to turn off. For that you have to say null. If you say null, it will be the browser logs of Firefox browser. In between these print statements will be turned off. Okay. Let's see this time. Let me execute after adding this statement. Let me run this program, same program again, to see whether these logs are turned off or not. The logs between the before logs and after logs are turned off or not. This should not be displayed, guys. When I run again, let me run it again. This time logs should be turned off. They should not be displayed in the output console. After 3 seconds, it will close. Yeah, done. You see, in between the before logs and after logs, whatever the browser logs of Firefox browser which used to be displayed here got turned off, guys. They are not getting displayed now. This is how you can turn off the logs. While your Selenium program is getting executed, there will not be any disturbance in logs or so. If your requirement is like that, you can simply add this statement to turn off the logs. Okay. And also, guys, sometimes you don't want your logs to be displayed in the output console between this before logs and after logs. You don't want the browser logs to be displayed here, but you definitely want to have them tracked in a separate log file. Okay. Let's say I will create some log file here. First I will create a folder. I'll name this folder as logs folder. Under this logs folder, I will say I'll create a file that is firefox.log. Let's say whatever the logs that will be displayed in the output console between this before and after log. I want to track them in this particular file. I want to get them. For now, when I open the firefox.log, it's kind of empty, guys. But when I go here, I'll add one more one. I will modify this statement, guys. Whatever the statement I added here, right? System.set property Firefox driver.system property browser log file is called null, right? Instead of this null, I'll provide the path of this Firefox.log. So let me do that. System.get property user.dir plus /logs that is logs folder. This is the up to the project folder. This will give you the project path up to this path. Under that logs folder is there. Under that we have firefox.log. Just give that firefox.log. Save it. Log file. Okay. Now instead of disabling it, I want those logs to be tracked in this firefox.log file. Okay, that is the only difference between the last statement to this statement. So let me run this time. This time also nothing should be displayed in between this before logs and after logs in the output console, but whatever the logs that are intended to be displayed between this before and after will be displayed in this firefox.log. Okay. For now, Firefox before running the firefox.log is kind of empty, but after running you will see some logs printed in them. Okay. I'm running again for the third time. This time the log should be there in the firefox.log file. Okay, after 3 seconds it will close. You see, nothing got displayed between the before logs and after logs in the output console. But when you open the firefox.log, whatever the logs that should be displayed between the after here got tracked in the firefox.log. Okay, this is how you can manage the logs, guys. This is how you can manage the logs in the Firefox browser. Okay, using Selenium. Using Selenium, you have done that. Okay, just by adding this statement, you can do that. You have to provide the path of the log file where you want to add the browser logs, Firefox browser logs to. This is how you can manage the Firefox browser logs. Now, so we are done with the browser logs for Firefox. We'll go with the next one, guys. The next one is when next one is path to the browser exe files. So there may be some situations, guys. I will remove this. I don't want to log anymore. Manage the logs. So I'm just clearing it out. Everything is cleared. So guys, this is a program. This is a normal program. Okay, which will launch the uh, Firefox browser and execute the Selenium scripts on the Firefox browser. Okay. So this time, guys, let's say that now I don't have any problem in this one. If I run it, it will work properly. But sometimes, guys, very rare cases, it won't happen to many of the people. Maybe 1% you can say, not 1% also. 99.9% you will not get any problem. Maybe that 0.01% of case may have a problem, guys. That is, the problem is when you run this program may not be able to find the Firefox browser exe file to launch it. Let's say there may be some problem. In that kind of situations, guys, you can add this. This is only required when some problem is there. Okay, but at present I cannot show you that problem. Okay, I cannot show you the problem here because I don't have any problem in this program. It's working fine. But if in case this particular statement is not able to launch the Firefox browser because of not finding the exe file, then you have to manually show the Selenium the path of the exe file. So how to give the path of the exe file? How to set the path of the browser Firefox browser exe file in the Selenium code is what I am going to explain. Here you have to add the statements, guys. Okay, before this. So before this program begins, if the Selenium code is not able to find the exe file of the Firefox browser and hence your scripts are failing, in that case, you have to manually set the path to that exe file of the Firefox browser. For that, Firefox options is a class. Options is equal to new Firefox options. You have to create an object for this Firefox options class in Selenium. Then you have to say options dot set binary. Okay, set binary and path of this Firefox browser. Set binary, I have to say. So options dot set binary, the set binary, and you have to give the path of the Firefox browser. For that, yeah, let's go to the your folder and go to your C drive. The C drive, the program files, Mozilla Firefox. You see, there is something called Firefox exe file, application file. That is exe file is there. This is a path, guys. Copy this path and where is that? Provide the path here and say / Firefox, nothing but this one. After this, Mozilla Firefox folder / Firefox.exe file. So when the default program is not able to locate this Firefox.exe to launch the Firefox browser, then only you have to manually specify this, guys. Otherwise, it's not required. Okay. In 99.9% cases, it will not happen, but very rare cases that problem may come. In that situations, you have to manually provide the path to this Firefox.exe. Okay, and these Firefox options, if you want them to be implemented in this particular program, you need to give this object reference. Okay, here. Okay, you need to pass that to the Firefox driver constructor. These options where you have set the path to the Firefox.exe should be provided as an input to this constructor here. Okay, then only this will be applied. This Firefox options will be applied to this program only when you give this options which got this setting set in this Firefox driver constructor. Then only these things will work. Otherwise, this particular things will not apply until unless you pass this options into the constructor of this Firefox driver constructor. Okay. So now, guys, let's run it to see whether even after providing the manual path to the Firefox browser exe, this program is getting executed or not. Let's confirm that. Okay, just to confirm whether things are working fine or not after setting the path to the Firefox.exe. You don't have to do it, but if required, you have to do it, guys. Okay. So things are working fine. Okay, it has launched the Firefox browser, search for Samsung, and then close the browser. Everything is working fine as usual. So we are done with the second configuration for Firefox browser. Now let's move to the third one, that is page load strategy. Okay. So what is this page load strategy? default page load strategy, and we are going to modify the default page load strategy. So I'll explain that. I'll remove this. This is not required anymore. So this options is gone now. Done. Control Shift O, so that libraries will be adjusted accordingly. Fine. Now guys, when I this is a normal sample program. Now when I run this program, guys, you see that when the Firefox browser is launched and when it got navigated to this application, you see that this next steps will not be executed until this browser is completely loaded. Okay. After this browser is completely loaded with this application URL, after completely navigating to this application URL only, these steps will be performed in real time. Okay. Let's confirm that. Default page load, guys. Default page load strategy is something like when you navigate to a particular page, the actions which come after this, you see, after completely loading the page, then only this Samsung will be typed and then these options will be coming. Okay. So that is the default page load strategy. So these actions will not be performed until this particular URL is navigated completely in the browser. But guys, if I want to change that strategy, this is a default page load strategy, guys. But if I want to change the page load strategy, Selenium is giving us some statement using which you can modify that. That is, again, this particular thing, guys, this statement. Options.set page load strategy dot eager you have to set. Then, before the page got loaded, the Samsung text will be typed and everything will happen. Okay, you can modify that. You can modify the page load strategy based on your requirement. So for that, guys, I have to say Firefox options. Options is equal to new Firefox options. Import it from Selenium, and now say options dot set page load strategy. Then say page load strategy dot eager. You have to set it to eager, guys. When you set this to eager and you give the object reference to this particular Firefox driver constructor, then only this settings will be applied to this. These options will be applied to this code only when you pass these options to this Firefox driver constructor. Don't forget that, guys. Things will not work for you. Okay. If you don't give these options in this Firefox driver constructor, these settings will not work. So I changed the default page load strategy to eager so that before this page is navigated completely, these actions will be performed. Let's see that whether that thing is, whatever I am saying is happening or not. So it's navigating, guys. While the page is getting navigated, you see Samsung is by default typed and then it got searched also. Okay, it's kind of very fast. You have changed the before this application URL is completely loaded, Samsung got typed and then this button got clicked. That's how you can change the default page load strategy using the Selenium, guys, in Firefox browser. Okay, now let's move to the next one. So default page load strategy, that configuration is also done on Firefox browser. Now let's move to the fourth one, that is profiling concept. Fourth one is profiling concept. In Firefox, there are different profiles, guys. You can create multiple profiles in Firefox. So before that, I will remove this earlier code, and then I will remove this also. So this is a normal code now. Normal code. Control Shift O will get adjusted. Fine. Okay, this is normal code now. So I'm going to explain about the profiling concept in Firefox first. First, I will explain manually, and then afterwards I will explain using Selenium how to work with profiles, Firefox profiles using Selenium. I'll explain later. But before that, I'll first explain what actually Firefox profile is and how can you create multiple profiles in Firefox and all those stuff. Okay. So guys, so when we want Selenium to open a specific Firefox profile, in Firefox you can have multiple profiles, guys. You can create multiple profiles in Firefox. In Firefox browser, you can create multiple profiles. Why you have to create multiple profiles in Firefox? You may not need that in real time, but Firefox browser is giving you a concept where you can create multiple profiles. There may be some situations where in a single machine, the same Firefox browser will be installed, but you want to have different profiles. Okay, let's say you want to have 3 profiles. Firefox profile 1 and profile 2, Firefox profile 2 and Firefox profile 3 you want to create like this. Okay, and these 3 profiles why you are creating here is because you want to have different settings, different add-ons. Okay, in this profile 1 and in profile 2 you want to have some other settings you want to work with. In the second profile you want to have different settings and different add-ons you want to have, other add-ons. And here also whatever that is, if you want to use multiple profiles in Firefox, and each and every profile should be different based on your needs, you want to customize these 3 profiles. Okay, based on your needs you may use profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, but all these 3 profiles may have different settings or layouts or whatever that is. Okay, so in that cases guys, in Firefox you can create multiple profiles and have different settings and different add-ons, and you can customize these profiles based on your different needs. You can make them their unique in themselves. So guys, before going to profiles, okay, so guys, if you have multiple profiles here, you can tell Selenium, you can make Selenium to open any of these profiles. Specific profile you can open guys. if in your machine there are multiple profiles, you can make Selenium to open a specific profile. Okay, you can make Selenium to open a specific profile. So this concept is related to that guys, how to make Selenium to open a specific profile in your machine. If you have multiple Firefox profiles in your machine, how to make Selenium to open a specific profile that you want to open. There may be some situations guys, you want to open a particular profile having particular settings. Okay, in Selenium you want to open a Firefox profile having some settings. That particular settings will be useful in for your application. Let's say your application will need those particular settings. Okay, in that cases what you have to do, you have to create some profile in your machine, a separate Firefox profile in your machine, and you have to do some settings, add-ons. You can install add-ons and whatever that is required for that profile, and you can make your Selenium to launch that particular profile in automation. Okay, while automating you can make Selenium to launch that particular profile having that settings and add-ons or any other customizations done for your automation needs. This is the purpose. But how to do that? Before going there, I will explain step by step about these profiles. Okay, first of all, whatever the profile that will be launched is your default profile guys. So here you see, I'll unpin here. I'll launch Firefox browser from my machine first, Firefox. So I'm launching the Firefox browser. Okay, when I launch this Firefox browser, Firefox browser, whatever the profile I am seeing is the default profile guys. This is a default profile. Okay, whatever the Firefox browser that is launching by default is the default profile. Okay, this is a default profile. No matter how many times you launch, the same profile will be opened. The default profile will be opened in your machine. Okay, so let's say I want to install some Selenium ID in my default profile. Okay, so why I have to install the Selenium ID add-on in my default profile? Just to I will create I'm going to create multiple profiles like this. After this, I'm going to, apart from the default profile, I'm going to create multiple profiles. Maybe profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, 3 more profiles in the same machine. So I'll be having how many profiles in my machine at that time? I may be having 4 profiles. The default profile is the one which I get by default. And other things, when I launch the Firefox browser manually in my machine, it will launch the default profile. Apart from this default profile, I will be creating, going ahead, I will be creating the 3 more profiles. Profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, and I will customize them. But when I create this additional 3 profiles, I may get confused which is the default profile, which is the profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, right? When I launch I cannot confirm whether that is a default profile or profile 1 or profile 2 or profile 3. Just to make a difference, what I'm doing is, here I will install different add-ons, or I will make some different settings here. Here I will do different settings and install different add-ons. Here I will do different settings and add-ons, like that. So as part of the default profile, I want to install Selenium IDE. Okay, I want to install Selenium IDE add-on. So when if I have these multiple profiles, and when I launch anything, if I get the default profile, I will be able to find the Selenium IDE add-on, and I can recognize that that is a default profile. That's the reason I am doing that. Okay, so let me launch the default profile that will be launched in my machine when I open the Firefox browser by default. So in this particular default profile, I will be installing the Selenium IDE. So sorry, I'm going to the wrong page. I will search for Selenium IDE and then go for this one, add-ons Mozilla Selenium IDE. Now click on add to Firefox. Click on add. You see Selenium IDE got installed in this. This particular add-on got installed here. When I click, it will launch the Selenium IDE. That's fine. Where is that? I'm closing this. And if I launch it again, default profile will get launched, and you see this is nothing but Selenium IDE. Okay, add-on is there. That means by seeing the Selenium IDE add-on, you can say that this is a default profile, guys. Okay, just to differentiate, I did that. Fine. So things required for default profile are done now. And as I mentioned, based on our needs and customization of browsers, Firefox browsers, we can create multiple profiles in the Firefox browser. So these are the steps for creating the multiple profiles, guys. Let me explain one by one. So as I mentioned, whatever the profiles that I'm going to create will have their own settings, add-ons, or customizations. Okay, that's a requirement. Now, it may have their own add-ons, settings, customizations, and other personal settings. You can have the multiple profiles with different customizations. So for creating the profiles, the first thing that you have to do is you have to pin the Firefox browser to the taskbar. So this is the taskbar, guys. Whatever you are seeing here is a taskbar, and it doesn't have the Firefox browser added to the taskbar. So for that, type Firefox, and this is application. Right click here and say pin to taskbar. When I say pin to taskbar, it will get added to my taskbar. Okay, that's the first step. Next step is right click on this and select. And when you right click on this, you will get this kind of thing, Firefox. Again, right click on this Firefox and select properties. This Firefox properties dialog will come. In that, under the shortcut, under the target, you will see this particular path that is c something something firefox.exe. After this double quote, give a space and say -p. Give a space and say, after this double quote of this path, give a space and say -p. Okay, -p, and say apply. Okay. That's the next step. You did that. Target shortcut field, you added the -p at the end of the firefox.exe path and applied. Okay. Now click on this. And you will see this time the browser is not getting launched, guys. When you click this particular pin shortcut, your browser is not getting launched. Instead, you are getting Firefox choose your profile dialog. So the reason why I added this -p at the end of the Firefox exe path in that particular properties dialog is that to get this particular dialog, guys. If you remove that p, what will happen? This dialog will not come. If you add this -p at the end of that particular shortcut path, then you will get this dialog. Okay, that's the reason I added this. I did this step. So when you launch, I got the Firefox choose your profile dialog like this, right? Now here, guys, I have options to create profile. New profile I can create. Okay. I have the options to create a new profile. By default, only default profile is shown here. Whatever that you are seeing here is a default profile. Apart from this default profile, we can create multiple profiles using this create profile option. Let's create. First, let's create the profile one. You can create anything. Let's say only profile 2. You can create any number of profiles, guys. I'll say next. Here I'll give the name as profile 2. Click on finish. Default profile may be the first profile, and what are the new profile that you are creating is the profile 2. Okay. I created an additional profile apart from the existing default profile. Now, and click on finish button. And click on finish button and start the browser. Select this profile 2 and click on start browser. Okay, I selected the profile 2 and started the browser. You see, a brand new profile got launched here, guys. This is the first time when you install the Firefox browser for the first time, you will get this kind of things, right? Okay, so you see in this particular profile, you don't have the Selenium ID option. Selenium ID option is only there in the default profile. This is a very brand new profile, guys. Okay, which don't have these things. Okay, now this a brand new profile name profile 2 will be got launched. Now in this profile, guys, to confirm to differentiate it with other profiles, I want to install another add-on here. In the default profile, for differentiation, I installed the Selenium ID add-on. Similarly, the profile 2, I will add one more different add-on, that is weather add-on. So weather extension from Firefox add-ons I'm installing. So in a particular Firefox browser profile in my machine, if I find any weather add-on, I can confirm that that particular profile is nothing but the new profile, which I manually created now. Okay. So I installed the weather profile, guys. This 13 number is coming here. If you click that, it will show you the weathers. Okay. The weather add-on. Instead of Selenium ID, in profile in newly created profile, I added this weather add-on. Okay. Now I have the default profile and another additional profile. I named it as profile 2 is there in my machine. Similarly, you can create any number of profiles, guys. Profile 3, profile 4, profile 5. You can, apart from default profile, you can create any number of profiles. Up to you. Okay. But in this example, I create I have two profiles in my machine now. One profile is the default profile, which came by default when I installed the Firefox browser, and second one is I just changed these properties and then added -p and then I created a new profile that with the name profile 2. There are two profiles. In the default profile, for differentiation, I added the Selenium. I installed the Selenium ID add-on. Whereas the profile 2 for differentiation, I added the weather plugin installed. Whenever a Firefox browser profile is launched, and if you see this weather plugin, you can confirm that that is profile 2. If you have the Selenium ID, if you see the Selenium ID in that particular launched Firefox browser, then you can confirm that it's a default profile. Okay. So that's what you can create any number of profiles, guys. Okay, up to you. I just only have created only one extra profile. Now, guys. So before launching this particular specific profile in the file using Selenium, let me explain this part. Okay. So Selenium, by launching the browser, will launch a brand new profile every time, guys. Okay. So if I execute this program, okay, if I execute this particular program, I will not quit it. I will not quit. Okay. If I execute this particular program, I'm commenting the quit part so that the browser will not be closed. Okay. If I execute this particular Selenium program, you can see that Selenium will automatically create a new profile and launch it for us. Okay. Because in my machine at present, how many profiles are there in my machine? Only two profiles are there. First profile is the default profile. Second profile is, I named it as profile 2. If you get the default profile, you can see the Selenium ID add-on installed in that. If you get the profile 2, we can confirm by checking the weather plugin, weather add-on is there in that. Okay. But if you get another profile, when you execute your script in Selenium, the Selenium will neither launch the default profile nor the profile 2, guys. Okay. It will launch its own profile. Okay, every time it will launch a new profile on its own. Okay, so let's confirm whether the Selenium is launching its own profile, even instead of launching this default or profile to which are there in our machines. Let's confirm that. Let me run this codes. You will see that Selenium will launch its own profile without having that Selenium ID or weather plugins. You see the Firefox browser got launched. Okay, you don't see any Selenium ID add-on or weather plugin here. Okay, nothing is there. That means every time you launch the Selenium, using Selenium, if you launch the Firefox browser, every time it will create a new profile and launch it. Okay, it will not launch your existing profiles in your machines. That's what I wanted to demonstrate. Okay, now guys, but your requirement here is in one of your projects, maybe there may be some situations where a specific Firefox profile having some specific customized add-ons or installations are required. Okay, in that case, what you will do, guys? But Selenium is launching a brand new profile every time. In that case, you may have to configure the Firefox. You have to provide Firefox browser configuration in such a way that using Selenium, the Firefox should launch only that particular specific profile you mentioned in the program. Okay, using Selenium, you want to launch a particular profile in your machine. That may be your requirement for that particular one of your project where customized Firefox profile is required. Okay, so in that case, we will add the statements, guys. Okay, to your code, you'll be adding the statements. So first statement is you have to create an object for the Firefox profiles INI class of Selenium. Everything belongs to Selenium, guys. Okay, so I have to add this extra code. Okay, that is profiles INI all profiles. I'll name this all profiles. Okay, is equal to whatever all the profiles that are here. This object will represent all the profiles in your machine. At present in my machine, how many profiles are there? I have two profiles. One is default and profile 2. So new profiles INI done. Import this from profiles INI. Let me confirm that. Firefox. So here, hover the mouse on this and import this from. Two options are coming. You have to import from the selenium.firefox. Now all profiles dot get profile you have to say. Okay, all profiles dot get profile. You have to give which profile you want to get in this profile to whatever the profile you created. You want to launch that particular profile which has a weather add-on. Okay, you want this particular Selenium code to launch a Firefox browser. Okay, Firefox browser profile having the weather add-on. Let's say. Okay, you have to give the name, same name, profile to you have to give whatever the profile name you want to launch. That profile name you have to give. Over the mouse on get profile, it will return Firefox profile. Okay, so that is nothing but profile 2 is equal to over the mouse you have to say create local variable. That's it. Okay, now you got the profile 2. Now now the next thing is you have to create an object for the Firefox options. Firefox options is equal to new Firefox options. This is a code, guys, that is required for launching a specific profile in your Selenium code. Import it. Okay, now options dot set profile. You have to set the profiles, guys. Which profile you have to set? This profile 2 you have to set. Okay, we're setting the Firefox browser to the profile 2, and this option you have to pass in the constructor of this Firefox driver constructor. Okay, this Firefox driver constructor you have to pass this option, then only this setting will be applied, this profile 2 will be applied. So guys, when you run this program, you'll clearly see that instead of the Selenium opening the new profile, its own new profile, you will see that we have made the Selenium to open a specific profile. That is, in our machine there are two profiles, default and profile 2. I am going to launch a specific profile using the Selenium code. Okay, that's the main purpose of this program. Let me run this and see whether the profile 2 is getting launched. The profile having the weather add-on is launched or not. that is profile 2 is having the weather add-on. Let's see and confirm that. Selenium should launch the profile 2 having that weather add-on. Using the weather add-on, we can confirm whether that is profile 2 or not. It may take some time, guys. Profiling may take some time. You see, the Firefox browser got launched. Okay, whatever it is. Okay. You see that there is a weather add-on here, guys. That means we have made the Selenium to launch a specific profile in our machine. That is profile 2. Only profile 2 in our machine is having this weather add-on installed, guys. We are able to successfully launch the profile 2 in our machines. We were able to confirm it. So guys, that's it. That's about the profiling. How to set the profiling using Selenium in Firefox browser. How to set the profiling. How to launch a specific profile in Firefox browser using Selenium. So that is the fourth browser configuration. Now let's move to the next one, that is notifications. Notification configuration. That is the next one, guys. I'll explain what actually the notifications are. Okay. So I'll remove all this stuff. This may not be required for us now. Normal code. This is normal code. Okay. I'll comment this out. This may not be required for us in this example. Fine. So guys, instead of this URL, so before going to this program, I'll explain one thing in the from the notes. Here you see, I want to set like modify these notifications in my Firefox browser using Selenium. Let's say. Fine. So what actually the notifications are and why we need to modify them? There are something known as web notifications, which we have to disable, guys. While working with browsers, they may come in between, and we may have to disable them. What actually these notifications are, I will explain. So let's say in Firefox browser, open this URL, copy this URL, jabang.com URL in Firefox browser. Sorry, this profiling concept is done. Since the profiling concept is done, what you can do here is you can select this profile 2 and then delete this profile. Okay, delete files. Okay, only you have the default profile now, and again right click here and right click on this Firefox and say properties, and whatever the -p you added, right, just remove that, apply. Okay, now try to click here. It will open the Firefox browser normally now. Okay, instead of that profiling options, you'll get the normal default Firefox profile. Okay, display. Okay, in this, guys, go to jabang.com, browse the jabang.com in the Firefox browser. So let's see what happens after the jabang.com is completely loaded. You will get a web notification, guys. Let's wait. You see, you got some notification here. Will you allow jabang.com to send notifications? Allow notification, not no. This is a notification, guys. Notification. So in order to proceed with the automation, you may have to. You should not be getting this one, guys. Right? You have to disable them while working the automation code. You may have to avoid this one. You may have to avoid this one. For that, Selenium is providing an option to disable those web notifications. Disable those web notifications which got displayed when you launch some browsers like jabang.com or so. Okay, how to disable the web notifications? You have to add the set preference. Okay, set preference. Okay, I may need some profiling concept again. Okay, get profile. Unnecessarily I deleted, guys. You still not need that profile. Okay, to disable this web notifications, you need that profile. So let me go back. Okay, so right click on Firefox properties and say -p. Let me create that profile again. So you can do that, disable the notifications only in the profile. So that's where you need the profile. Okay, so let me close this one and open this. You'll get the profile creation dialog. Create the profile. Create. Next, give the name of the profile as profile 2. Okay, I created the profile and start this profile, Firefox profile to start this profile. And to differentiate that profile, let's install the weather add-on. For the disabling web notifications, you need the profiling concept. Okay, that's why I have to do it again. Okay. Add. Okay, the add-on got added in the profile too. Fine, that's fine. So there was some code, right? What is that? Profiles INI, all profiles is called new profile INI. Done. Import this from Selenium. Then all profiles dot get profile. You have to repeat it again and give the name of the profile you want to launch using the Selenium code. Profile to name of the profile that you want to launch. Return type is Firefox profile. That is nothing but profile to create variable. Okay. Now Firefox options is equal to new Firefox options. For the mouse input options dot set profile. Which profile you have to set? This profile to you have to set. Okay, profile to you have to set, and this options you have to pass into the constructor of the Firefox driver class. Okay, that's it. Now guys, this program we already seen. When I execute this program, profile 2 will be launched, right? Profile 2 will be launched. But guys, this time I want to open this application, that is, which is nothing but jabang.com. I want to open the Selenium code. I want to open the jabang.com. Normally I will open first. I will not do any settings for disabling the when I run this program, you will see the notification in the Firefox browser. Okay, it will launch the Firefox profile 2 of the Firefox browser, but still you will see the web notifications using this program. I have not turned off the notifications. I didn't disable the notification set. I'm just simply launching the profile 2. Okay, let me run this. I'm running the jabang.com URL. Okay, let's see. The jabang.com URL is coming while running this automation code, and you will also, after loading, you will see some web notification coming up. Will take some time. With the profiling, it may take some time. Let's wait. You see, it opened the Firefox browser. It will navigate to jabang.com, and after the jabang.com is completely loaded, you will see the web notification display. You see, the web notification is coming. It's not disabled yet. So this time, what I want to do here is, I want to make some changes here, using which I want to disable the web notifications. Here, guys, under this statement, I will copy this profile to. I will say dot. Okay, dot set preference. So that is dot set preference, I guess. So let's see. Yeah, profile to dot set preference. I have to add this one. Okay, dom dot web notifications dot enabled is false. I have to say. Okay. So profile to dot set preference. Here I have to say dom dot web notifications dot dom dot web notifications dot enabled. I have to say, and here I will say false. Okay, false. So this statement will turn off the web notifications in this profile too. So now guys, since options is already set here, the settings will be applied, and this disabling is done in the profile too. Let's see if I run this code. I should not see that web notification coming now. Okay, let's run this. It will take some time to learn the Firefox profile browser. Okay, So after the jabang.com is loaded, this time you see, you will not get any web notification. You see, you're not getting any web notification, guys. Web notification is not coming here, right? It got disabled now. Earlier we got the web notification, right? Now we are not getting the web notification. That's how you can disable the web notifications in the Firefox browsers. Fine. That's about the notifications, guys. How to disable the notifications. Okay. Now let's handle the certificates. The next thing is certificates. Handling the certificates. Sometimes you will get some certificate errors, guys. I will explain what actually the certificates are and why you get such kind of errors. Okay. I'll explain step by step. So now, how to handle the certificates using Selenium in the Firefox browser. How to handle the certificates in Firefox browser using Selenium. I am going to explain. Okay, using Selenium code, how to handle the certificates errors in the Firefox browser. Before that, guys, what are actually certificates? What are certificates? Okay. So, guys, there's something like some certificates like SSL certificates. Okay, SSL. So there are some certificates like SSL certificates. The main purpose of the certificates is for taking care of the security part. Okay, security. They enhance the security in your applications of your application. How they enhance, I am going to explain. Okay, wait for that. So first of all, this SSL certificates, when installed on web servers, will create a secure connection between browser and web server. For example, let me open this Firefox browser. Any profile or something. Okay, let me open this. Let me open some bank, hdfcbank.com. Okay, this is a banking site, guys. This has some certificate, guys. So when a particular site has a certificate, it will look like this. It will be accessed when I simply say www.hdfcbank.com, but it has the URL that have got opened is HTTPS. So hypertext transfer protocol over secured layer. Yes. How can this be HTTPS instead of HTTP? Because this particular application which got this particular HDFC Bank application which got hosted in the web server has this certificate installed. Some SSL secure connection is there. Okay, there are some certificates, guys. More info. Just go to more information. You will see the certificate. This is a SSL certificate. Okay, this HDFC Bank is issued some certificate, some SSL certificate by this organization called DigiCert. This company, this HDFC Bank has purchased this SSL certificate from this organization and has installed in its application. Okay, on the web server it got installed. Why we need that SSL certificate to be installed in the web server application of the application's web server? Why it is regularly required? Because there is a need, guys. Security purpose. For security purpose, you need that. So let me explain in a clear manner. This is your client machine, and in this client machine, maybe this is my laptop. Let's say whatever the laptop I am using now, I can call it as client machine. Okay, laptop is nothing but my client machine. Let's say. Okay, in this, let's say I opened one browser, maybe the Firefox browser also, whatever the browser it may be, Firefox browser or whatever the browser that is. Okay, and I opened one URL that is TPS. Let me say www.hdfcbank.com I open. Okay. Now, when I browse this hdfcbank.com, remotely somewhere the HDFC guys has their own server, right? Server machine where web server machine will be there. Web server machine will be there. It has the application logic for this HDFC Bank. Okay. Whenever you access this hdfcbank.com, a request will be sent to the server over the internet. Over the internet, a request will be sent, and you will get the website page of that HDFC Bank from responded back from this server, right? This is what happens over the internet. This request and response will happen. Okay, you need to access this. If you try to log in, username and password will be sent to this application web server, and they will be validated in the database, and then the response will become, if they are valid, you will be able to log in here into the hdfcbank.com. Okay, such kind of things happen on the web. But guys, while the information like username, password are transferred between this your laptop and your this web server machine of the HDFC bank, okay, over the internet, okay, over the internet, this username and while trying to log in into the HDFC bank, username and password will pass it to this server and then validate it here, and then if they are valid, you'll get a positive response and you will be logged in, right? But this username and password need to be transferred from the client machine to the server machine to validate that. While getting transferred, there is a possibility that, okay, while it is getting transferred, there is a possibility that, let's say my username is Arun and password is 1234, okay, and they are passed as it is to the server. Let's say Arun and 1234 are, this username and password are passed to this web server machine over the internet like this, okay. Suppose any hacker, let's say there is a hacker who is trying to hack my credentials. There is a hacker, a security point of view, the person who can hack this my credentials to gain access to my HDFC bank credentials. So what he did is, so he tried to hack this transit part. While my username and password are getting transferred to server, he did something to get this username and password, which is getting transferred over this request and responses. Okay, he did something. So guys, what will happen? Directly, my username and password will be, if he is successful, he will be able to get my username and password as it is. The hacker will be able to get my username and password as it is, and he may try to compromise my account. Okay, he may try to compromise the account in gaining the access and then performing different operations in my account, HDFC bank account. Okay, that is a very bad case. So to avoid this, what this web server has to do is, they have to install some SSL certificate. Okay, this SSL certificate is provided by different organization bodies. Okay, based on their brand name, the real applications will approach them and purchase this SSL certificate and install them. What will happen when SSL certificate is installed? So here, before the SSL certificate is installed, this request and response will be transferred over the internet using which protocol? HTTP protocol. Which this is not secured, guys. HTTP is hypertext transfer protocol. This is not a secured one. So hence the hacker is able to access the username and password as it is. Whatever the username password I give here, he will be able to access here. Okay. But when I install the SSL certificate, okay. But when I install the SSL certificate, my request and responses will not be carried on the HTTP. Instead, they will be on the HTTPS. S stands for security, guys. Instead of HTTP, HTTPS. You see some very good applications like HDFC Bank or any other banks, guys. Mainly banks have HTTPS secured level because they have the certificate installed. Okay, they have the certificate installed in their web server. Hence HTTPS protocol, secured layer. So when you have this certificate installed, the request and response will be carried on the secured protocol known as HTTPS. S stands for secured layer. What will be the secured layer will do here? So instead of transferring this username and password as it is on the internet, they will be encrypted, guys. Arun will be encrypted into some, you don't understand that language. There may be some algorithm in the certificate which will encrypt this. While the username and password are getting transferred like this, Arun may be something like this. Instead of Arun, it will be sending maybe #123 some colon dollar something. We don't understand that. This may be Arun, guys. Okay. And for password 1234 is there, right? Instead of 1234, it may send some encrypted code like this, or okay, some code it will send. And when a hacker tries to steal my username and password, he may not get my Arun 1234. Instead, he will get #1234 and all these things. But hacker may not be able to understand this, and he will leave it as it is. Okay, he may not be able to decrypt it. This encryption is done, but decryption, it doesn't have the possibility of decrypting this back to the Arun 1234. Okay, encryption is there which he doesn't understand. This kind of code, if we try to even log in also, it will not work, guys. Okay, because these are not my username and password. They are encrypted ones. If I decrypt only, they decrypt back to the Arun 1234. Then only he will be able to log in. So here my data is transferred over the internet in a secured layer, secured layer using HTTPS. When this SSL certificate is installed, then only HTTPS protocol will be secured layer in an encryption format. The secure layer data will be transferred in an encrypted format like this. So when the data comes to HDFC web server, it will web server will have this SSL certificate installed. Hence, it can decrypt it and then validate it properly and then allow us to log in. Okay, but hacker in between while the data is in transit, this is a transit mode, guys. This is a client side, this is a server side, but in between the data is getting transferred. In transit mode, hacker will not be able to get my details because of the security measures provided by this SSL certificate installation in the web server. Okay, this is a concept about SSL, guys. A very big concept. Okay, I just made it made it try to understand in a very less amount of time. Okay, you can R&D more if you want to learn more about that SSL certificates and all those stuff. Okay, so during the transit, the hacker should not be able to access the my username and password, which are getting transferred over the internet. Okay, so when I have the SSL certificate, the data will be transferred over HTTPS protocol, which will perform the encryption before transferring the data, and the encrypted data will be transferred to the server, and server will be able to decrypt it properly, and hacker will not have get the chance of decrypting it because he don't know how to decrypt that. Okay, okay, that's about the SSL certificates, guys. So the websites having the SSL certificates installed can be accessed over HTTPS protocol, which I explained. For example, there are these are few examples, guys. SeleniumHQ.org. Okay, Selenium HQ.org. This website is also accessed over HTTPS only, you see, because it has some certificate, SSL certificate installed, so HTTPS protocol. Okay, this one also SSL protocol. There are different websites, guys. Like some are not, some will not have the SSL certificate. I'll give this. These are the examples of the SSL certificate installed applications. Whereas some applications, maybe I will take normal applications. Maybe Selenium IDE, or I will search for some other thing. Some blog I will write, blog, traveling blog. There are a lot of websites, guys, which will not have this SSL certificates. Okay, so let me get some websites which doesn't have this SSL certificates. So let's search for something like CACert. Okay, so it's a website, guys. Open this website. You see www.cacert.com. When I copy paste this HTTP, guys. It's not HTTPS. Okay. When I copy this and paste it somewhere, you see it's saying HTTP. It's not HTTPS. That means it doesn't have this particular application doesn't have the SSL certificate installed. Hence, the transactions, the transferring of the data between the client machines, browsers in the client machines to the servers is done on the HTTP protocol instead of HTTPS. Only the applications which have the SSL certificate installed at the web server end, they only will be transferred over the HTTPS in an encrypted format. Whereas this, whatever the data that will be transferred between this application in the web browser, Firefox browser to the web server, all the data will be transferred in the normal format itself. If the hacker want to get the details, he can get it. Okay, like that. This is not that much secure. Okay, so it's like if the application doesn't need the security requirement, that's fine. Okay, but if it has some login functionality also, definitely this HTTPS is required, guys, for transferring the username and password over the encrypted protocol, encryption format. So this application may not require that, but you see, this is a HTTP, okay, which doesn't have certificate. Whereas this kind of banking, definitely banking should have the HTTPS, guys. Very secured way we have to handle this. So HTTPS certificate should be there, SSL certificate should be there, and data should be transferred over this HTTPS protocol, which will do the encryption for us. Okay, fine. So that is the example for the applications which have the SSL certificate installed, and the application which doesn't have the SSL certificate installed, which transfers the data over HTTP, and which have the SSL certificate installed will transfer the data over the HTTPS. Okay, a very different concept, guys. Security concepts these are. Okay, we may be very new to that. Okay, you can do a lot of R&D on that topic if you want. Fine, guys. So, guys, if I try to access this, let me close everything, and if I try to access this, www.casr.com using HTTP protocol, I'm not getting error, right? I'm not getting error. But if I try to access the same thing, but even though SSL certificate is not there, but if I give HTTPS :/ enter, what's happening, guys? It's saying that your connection is not secure. What are the in transit, right? The transit part is not secure, it is saying, and it's not displaying. This is a certificate error, you can say. Okay, this particular application is not having the SSL certificate. Even though it's not having the SSL certificate, you are trying to access it using HTTPS. Then you will get this kind of certificate error saying that your connection is not secure. Okay, you will not see the csr.org. The web page is not getting displayed. Instead, it's saying that your connection is not secure because you are forcibly trying to access this using HTTPS, even though this particular application is not having the SSL certificate installed in its web server. Okay, this is the certificate error I am going to I thought of explaining. Okay, how to overcome this certificate error? How to overcome this certificate error, even though you forcibly try to browse that application URL using the HTTPS? So how to overcome that certificate errors if you get that? Okay, for that, guys, there is some code. Okay, you have to set these things. You have to set these things. But guys, in Selenium code, even though you give this HTTPS, okay, you'll not get any certificate errors. Okay, here you mentioned that you're trying to navigate to HTTPS, and you didn't add any code to overcome that certificate error set. Okay, by default, this is a default code. Okay, normal code, and you didn't provide any profile settings or any other things to overcome that certificate error. To overcome this kind of certificate error, when you access this particular application using HTTPS, you didn't provide any code so far. It's normal code only. Okay, so let me run this. Still, you will be able to access, guys, without any problem. Sorry, this is not the application, right? Let me close this. I have to go. I have to give the URL actually. Let me give this HTTPS csr.org. HTTPS I am giving, guys. Even though this application doesn't have the SSL certificate, I am giving this HTTPS and trying to forcibly navigate to this application using the Selenium code. But let's see whether this thing is giving any certificate error or not by default. By default, it may not give the certificate error. Okay. Only in some cases, certificate error may come in while working with Selenium. In IE browser, mainly you'll get the certificate error. But in Firefox and Chrome browser, they are handled by default. Okay, they are handled by default. You don't have to handle the certificate errors in Firefox browser or Chrome browsers. Okay, because they are handled by default. You don't have to do anything. If you manually browse, you are getting the certificate error in the Firefox browser, right? But when you run the same thing in the Selenium code, using Selenium code, if you run that, you will not get the certificate error. By default, Selenium is taking care of that certificate error in Firefox and Chrome browsers. That's what I thought of explaining. So let the Firefox browser launch. It's taking time. So before that, let's close the profile, guys. Otherwise, it may not launch. Let me launch it again. Let me run it again. So make sure that that profile is not launched. Some error is coming here. What is that error? Some error has come. Did I do any mistake here? Driver.get, I said profile 2. Let me close this one and then say run it again. Okay, let me remove this. All profiles, I'm getting the profile 2, and then options, setting the profile as profile 2, and then giving the options here. It is a very basic one. Okay, let's run it. Some error is coming. Java if is out of memory, something is coming. Let me close it. Let me launch it again. Let me run it now. See whether I'm getting the same error or not. Yeah. Task manager. So that was a problem we are getting because of profiling, guys. Okay. So somehow the Java space for that particular Firefox browser profile got more than what actually that should be. So we can do one thing. What we can do is we can either go to properties. Sorry, we can click on this Firefox and then delete this profile once. Okay, we can delete this profile and create another profile. Again, after deleting, again create the same profile. Not a problem. Okay, we are newly creating the profile. Okay, just to free up the memory space. We deleted all the files, so the space got deleted. Now let's see whether the with that newly created profile, newly restarted profile, let's see whether that is working fine or not. Let me run the program. You see, this time it's running, it seems. Yeah, it's running, guys. So somehow the Firefox profile 2 got out of memory. So when you run the program, guys, you can see that you're not getting, even though it's accessing the application on cacrt.org using HTTPS. Okay, even though this application doesn't have the SSL certificate, when you forcibly do with the help of HTTPS, you're not getting the certificate error. Selenium is taking care of that. You don't have to take care anything about that, right? By default, Selenium is taking care of that. But guys, if in future, if you're trying to access this non-SSL certified applications using over HTTPS protocol, and in future if you may get a certificate error when you work with Selenium, you have to simply add these two steps, guys. Okay, I'm not getting the error, but while executing using Selenium with this HTTPS this particular application, which may result in certification error, but still in future if there is any if you get a kind of situation where you get that kind of certificate error in the Firefox browser, then you may have to add this kind of statements, guys. You have to add this kind of statement, that is profile2 dot set accept untrusted certificate as true, and profile2 dot set assume untrusted certificate issuer as false. Okay, you have to add these two lines. Let's add. What you have to do? Profile2 dot set as true, I guess. Yes. Then profile2 dot set issuer as false. Okay, you have to simply add these statements. If in future in your Firefox browser while accessing this kind of applications which don't have SSL certificates over HTTPS protocol, if you get such kind of certificate errors, if you add these statements, the certificate errors will be resolved. Okay, by default the Selenium is taken care of, but in future if you get such kind of things, certificate errors using Selenium code in Firefox browser, then you have to simply add this to your profile. Okay, the settings to your profile, things will work properly. Let's confirm and run this. Okay, whether this code is running or not. Let's see that. Yeah, it's working fine. Okay, it's working fine. Done. Next. So that's about the profiling, guys. Okay, that is about profiling. So this thing, what do you call certificate errors? Sorry, that's about the certificate errors. We are able to handle the certificate errors in using Selenium and Firefox browser. Now the last browser configuration for Firefox using Selenium is proxy settings. What are proxies? Again, this is a different concept, guys. Okay, again, this proxy settings is a different concept. Let me explain that to you. What are actually are the proxy settings? Let's say this is your client machine that you use a laptop. Okay, laptop. Okay, this is nothing but your client machine. That is your personal machine laptop. Okay, where you are trying to access the application. Let's say you are trying to access one application. Let's say www.hdfcbank.com. Let's say you are accessing this application. Okay, this application you are accessing in a browser. Let's say Firefox browser. Okay, Firefox browser is accessing this application. So this application has a web server, right? Somewhere on the internet, somewhere on the over the network. This web server will be there. Okay, web server will be there, which belongs to the HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank, right? But guys, in most of the cases, when you access this, a direct connection will be established between this web server and the client. When you try to access this hdfcbank.com, you may be able to access directly, guys. If I directly type hdfcbank.com without doing any settings in my browsers, okay, I'm able to directly access the page. That means I am directly accessing the page. I'm directly accessing this web server and I'm able to do the things. But in some situations, guys, when you type this kind of settings like www.hdfcbank.com, this hdfcbank.com will not come. Okay, assume that when I browse this URL in my code, okay, in this browser, this HDFC bank page may not come. Okay, and there may be some settings to for security reasons or for other reasons, for any other reasons, this web server may have a mediator kind of thing known as a proxy server. Okay, so the people who have access to this proxy server can access this web server, guys. Without having this access to this proxy server, this kind of applications may not be reached, for example. Okay, this may happen only with some applications, guys. Not every application. Only applications which want us to access their proxy server in order to access their actual server. Okay, some mediator server will be there known as proxy server. They have some IP address. They have some port numbers. Okay, okay. So in order to access this web application, which is having this proxy server in between, you cannot simply type www.hdfcbank.com in the Firefox browser and directly read the web server. It's not possible. In between, there is a proxy server. It's a gateway. It's like a watchman. Let's say this is your apartment and this is your watchman. In order to go inside the apartment, you have to pass through the watchman, right? If watchman allows, then only you can access this. You can go inside the apartment. Okay, that's how the proxy server is. If you don't have that particular IP address or port numbers, watchman doesn't allow you. Let's say, okay, such kind of thing. So, in order to access this web server, you should be able to access this proxy server. If you are able to access this proxy server, then you will be able to access this web server. Okay. This is a very technical topic, guys, out of our Selenium thing, but I'm just explaining at a high level. Okay. Some applications may need you to access their proxy server in order to access the web server. Then, how to overcome this problem in such kind of applications where they have the proxy servers to be accessed in order to access the applications? For that, guys, in your Firefox browser, you have to set this proxy settings. You have to perform this. In your Firefox browser, you have to, whatever the browser that is, Firefox or Chrome or IE, you have to perform this. You have to set this proxy settings. In your browser's proxy settings, okay, you have to set the proxy settings of this proxy server. This proxy server has some IP address and port number, right? You have to set those IP address and port number in your Firefox browser or any other browsers. So after you set this proxy settings in your browser, then only you will be able to access this real application. Only some applications that may happen, guys. So as part of our Selenium, if you really come across such application which will need your which may need you to connect to the proxy server in order to connect to the applications, then you have to definitely set the proxy settings in your Firefox browser or whatever the browser that is. Okay, but how Selenium will allow you to, how Selenium, what are the different settings in Selenium which using which you can configure this proxy settings in your Firefox browser while working with Selenium automation is what we have to focus on. Okay, if really in your real application, real time working with applications where you get a requirement of connecting to the proxy server in order to continue the application, otherwise you will not be able to connect to the web server. Okay, such kind of situation, such kind of client application if you get, then you should use your Selenium settings to perform this proxy settings in your browser. Then only you will be able to access the application, right? Otherwise you cannot run your automation scripts on this application because this proxy server will block it. Such kind of situations, you have to set the proxy settings in a Firefox browser using Selenium. How to do that? How to set this proxy settings using Selenium in the Firefox browsers is something which I'm going to explain now. Okay, that's the concept of the proxy server. So still something is there. I will explain that practically. So there may be some situations where the browser is not allowed to directly communicate with the actual web server for security reasons or any other reasons. Okay, instead the browser in your laptop or your machine has to connect to the proxy server, which acts as a mediator between your browser and actual web server. Okay, such kind, whatever I explained here. Okay, the same. In such situations, we have to manually set the proxy settings in the browser. So in your whatever the browser you want to access this application, right, you have to set the proxy settings of this proxy server here, and then you will be able to access. Okay, one I will show you. Okay, for example, I cannot give you any example here, guys. I cannot give you any example here because I don't have such kind of application servers which have that proxy mediators with me now right away to demonstrate as it is. Okay, but I can definitely show you where actually the proxy settings will be and all those stuff. This is your Firefox profile too. Okay, let's say in my machine, and let's go to the options. Okay, Firefox browser options. In the find in options, just search for proxy. Okay, proxy. Click on this proxy settings. You see here proxy. Okay, you see here this connection settings of proxy settings. So what I mean to say here is if you're whatever the application you want to access, let's say hdfcbank.com, if you want to access that, if it has a mediator proxy server, then you have to give the proxy settings here, right? So for that, you have to select this manual proxy configuration, and in this particular HTTP proxy, you have to give the proxy server IP address. IP address of the proxy server you have to give here 192.168. Let's say some dummy I will take. I don't have any proxy server with me, but let's assume that this is the IP address of the proxy server. So you have to give this, and you have to give a port number of that proxy server. Okay, so let's say 9193, some random, and click on OK. Now if I try to access that hdfcbank.com, what's happening? I'm not able to access it. Not able to access it because this HDFC bank doesn't have that proxy server. I just modify the proxy settings. It's not allowing now. This may be the reverse case where some applications have the proxy settings to be done to access the applications. So without setting this proxy settings, you will not be able to access this kind of applications, let's say in real time. Okay, that may be the problem, guys. That may be the problem. Okay, you will get some that the connection has timed out. hdfcbank.com is taking too long. Okay, anything, it may be anything because that proxy settings may not be there for all the right applications. They are dummy proxy settings. Whatever I gave is a dummy proxy settings. I'm trying to access another site. Let's see what's coming up. You'll not be able to access any site until you remove those proxy settings because there is no mediator server in real time now in current situation. So connection has turned out. So if your computer network is protected by a Firefox or proxy, you see, say for security reasons, you are using the proxy server, guys. Okay, instead of directly sending the request and response request to the application server, some applications may keep some proxy things. the browsers who want to connect to the applications have to provide the proxy settings. Then only the application will be connected. Very secure applications, this kind of thing may be used. Fine. Now guys, that is nothing but the proxy settings. That's nothing but the proxy settings. Some application may require you to set the proxy settings in your Firefox browser like this. Whatever the proxy settings I set, right? That kind of things may need to be done in some applications. But this is what I did in manual way, right? I came here into the Firefox browser and then I went to the proxy settings and manually gave here. But I don't want to do this manually, guys. In real time, not while automation, I cannot give the settings manually and then run the Selenium code, right? That may not be possible, right? I'll say no proxy. I'm just removing that, removing the proxy settings. If I access now, everything will be accessed. Now everything will be accessed. You see, you can access because there are no proxy settings now. Everything is working fine. Okay. So in some situations where your application, in order to automate your application, you may have to connect to the proxy server and automate. In that case, I cannot manually do every time and then do it, right? We have to take care of it in automation. Using Selenium, I have to do that proxy settings. Whatever I did now should be done using Selenium. Should be done using Selenium. For that, there is some code, guys. This is a code. Using Selenium, if you want to set that proxy settings, which I have done manually, just now showed you in a practical way, in a manual way, right? If you want to do the same thing, you have to write this code. Okay. For example, let's say here I will say www.tutorialsninja.com. I'll remove all this stuff. Only profile thing will be there. That's fine. Fine. You see, here I'm trying to access this tutorialsninja.com. Tutorialsninja.com. Okay. Since tutorialsninja.com/demo application is not having any proxy server, okay, any mediator server is not there, so it will be accessed directly without any problem. Will be able to access. But if you provide the proxy settings, then you will not be able to access it. Okay. Reverse way I'm explaining, guys, because I don't have a real example of an application having the proxy server. I'm just showing you manually. If I try to access, I was not able to access when I provided the proxy settings, right? I'm going to replicate the same to confirm whether the proxy settings have been applied or not. Yeah, it's opening. You see, application will also be accessed because this application doesn't have any proxy server in between. You can access directly. But for such kind of applications, if you change the proxy settings in the Firefox browser, you'll not be able to access this application. Okay. So let's give the proxy settings now. Profile to what is that? Dot set preference. This copy paste, guys. These three things copy paste. Okay. One by one, let's copy paste. Profile to dot set preference. Network dot proxy type is called one manual way. Okay. That one stands for manual. And here profile to dot set preference network HTTP you are setting and you are giving the IP address of the proxy server. If in real case you need to set the proxy servers, you have to set like this, guys. You have to use these three statements. Whatever I'm giving, you have to give that. Okay. Profile to dot set preference. You have to set that HTTP port number you have to give. Okay. Whatever you are giving manually, like IP address, manual option, and then port number. These are the three statements that will do the job. Okay. In real time, if you need these proxy settings to be done, you have to do that and then work on the applications. This application doesn't need the proxy settings. Since if I set this proxy settings and try to run this program, it will give me page timeout exception or something. It will not take me to the application now because these proxy settings are set and this proxy settings doesn't belong to this application. So it will not read the application now. Mediator will stop me as there are no such proxy settings for that particular application on the web server of that application. You see, it will not access, guys, because I intentionally gave the proxy settings which doesn't belong to that application which I want to access. So it will stop me from going there because you see the same error which I got while explaining manual way I got here. That means the proxy settings have been applied here in the browser. That's the reason it's not coming. Okay, fine. I'm removing the proxy settings. Okay. They are not good. To be continued. Fine. Let's move ahead. That's it. So that's about the Firefox browser configurations, guys. Firefox configurations. Okay, Firefox configurations. So since I am done with the Firefox configurations, I am now free to delete the profiles which I created in my machine. I don't want to continue having these profiles. If you also need the same thing, if you don't have want to, if you want to revert back, okay, to the original default place, so simply click here, and whatever the existing profiles will come. Select this profile, which don't delete this default profile, guys. If you by mistake delete this default profile, that will be a problem for you guys. Okay, don't ever delete this default profile. Make sure while deleting the profiles, so clearly select the newly created profiles like profile 2 and delete them. Don't delete the default profile. Don't delete the default profile. Okay, that will not be a good sign. You may have to run into problems. I may not be able to help you there. Okay, so make sure you don't delete the default profile, only delete the newly created profile. And also right click here, say right click properties, and then go to the end of the target, and then remove this -p which I added earlier. And also make sure you don't disturb this path. Okay, it will lead to a different problem. Okay, make sure you only remove the -p only. Okay, don't delete any of this stuff. Make sure these things. Otherwise, things will not be reverted in a proper way. You have to be careful, guys. You see, now I'm able to launch the default profile directly. Okay, I reverted back everything. So, guys, in this session, I explained the in this session I explained how to perform different configurations on Firefox browser using Selenium. Only Firefox browser I explained, guys. Two more browsers are even left. That is how to perform this different browser configurations on Chrome browser using Selenium and on Internet Explorer using Selenium are left. Okay, only one thing I explained, that is Firefox browser, and I have to cover two more, that is Chrome and Internet Explorer I want to cover. Okay, that is still left, guys. Only I cover the Firefox browser in this session. A lot of things in the Firefox. Okay, so it took a lot of time. So that's it for this session, guys. In next session, I will be explaining how to do the same for Chrome browser and then IE browsers. Okay, in the next session, I will cover the Chrome and IE browsers. In this session, only Firefox browser is covered. Firefox browser configurations are covered as part of Selenium. Okay, see you guys. Bye. Hello everyone. Welcome to session 97 of Selenium training. In this session, guys, I'm going to continue Selenium and browser configurations. In the last session, I covered how to perform different browser configurations on Firefox browser using Selenium. Okay, on Firefox browser, how to perform different browser configurations using Selenium, I covered in the last session. Similarly, I have to cover the same for Chrome browser and IE browser. Okay, for Chrome and IE browser also I need to cover. So in today's session, in this session, I am going to cover how to perform different browser configurations on Chrome and IE browser using Selenium. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Let's get started with the Chrome browser first. Okay, how to perform different configurations on different browser configurations on Chrome using Selenium. Let's get started today. So first of all, make sure that you have the latest Chrome browser before proceeding. You have the latest Chrome browser before proceeding. To confirm whether you have the latest Chrome browser in your machine, you have to first launch the Chrome browser. Go to the help menu, go to the help options and about Chrome. You see the Google Chrome is up to date. As per today date, as per today date in my machine, version 71 is the latest version, guys, and Google Chrome is certifying that it is up to date. That means it is the latest version. That's fine. So I've just now confirmed that my machine has the latest Chrome browser installed. Now, let me demonstrate the different browser configurations on Chrome browser using Selenium. So the first one is how the logs are displayed in the output console. Okay, I will demonstrate logs. browser logs. So in Chrome browser, guys, by default, the logs will not get are not getting displayed here. Okay, no logs are getting displayed in this particular example. Okay, let me show that. So first of all, let me this is a yesterday's project itself. In the last session, I have created this project. If you remember, I have created the demo class under the Firefox package. Similarly, today I am going to demonstrate about Chrome browser. So let me create a new package. Right click on src test java here and say new package. QAFox dot same thing. The same thing. Only the last word will be Chrome. Browser configurations dot Chrome. Simple. This is a new package. Right click on this newly created package and say new class. I'll call this demo class again. Let me create the main method. Public static void main string of args string of args. Now let me write some Selenium code so that the URL gets opened, application gets opened in the Chrome browser. Okay, let me write that code. Driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Import this WebDriver and this Chrome driver class. Then WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup driver dot manage dot window dot maximize driver dot get http www dot tutorials ninja.com/demo driver dot get is done. After navigating to this application, that is tutorials ninja/demo application, I want to type Samsung text into the search box field. Let me inspect this search box field. It has a name locator with the value search. So let me write that code. Driver dot find element by dot name. Sorry. By dot name search dot send keys. I will type Samsung into that search box field. And followed by I need to click on this search button. So I'll create a CSS selector for this. Control F. Say I class ends with FA search. Okay, it's locating. So copy this and now say driver dot find element by dot CSS selector dot click. So when it clicks, it will open like this. Now driver dot I will add a thread.3 for demonstration purpose. Let's say 3000 seconds or so. Import it. Throws. Now driver dot quit I will say. To see whether any logs are getting displayed in the output console or not while executing this code, Selenium code in Chrome browser. To check whether any logs are getting any Chrome browser logs are getting displayed in the output console. Let me add some print statements. I will say before logs, and here after quitting I will say system.out.println after logs. If any logs are getting displayed, they will be printed between these two statements in the output console. Okay, let's see whether any logs are getting displayed by default in the Chrome browser when you run some automation scripts in Selenium automation scripts in Chrome browser. Let's see that. You should launch the Chrome browser and then do all the operations that I have automated in this program. Let's see whether any logs will get printed between the before logs and after logs print statements. After 3 seconds, it will close. Get closed. You see, in between the before logs and after logs, no logs got printed, guys. In the output console, no logs got printed. That means by default, Chrome browser is not giving any this particular program okay, is not printing any logs of Chrome browser in this output. But guys, if in case there is a possibility that you are seeing some logs in the output console. In future, if you see any logs between before after logs and you don't want them to be displayed in the output console, so what you have to do? There is a statement, guys. You have to add this statement. Okay, you have to disable the logs. This is a statement for disabling the logs. Though we are not getting the logs. Okay, so we are not getting the logs. If in case you get the logs, you can add that statement. That is system.setProperty. System.setProperty. So here we have to say Chrome driver service. Chrome driver service dot Chrome driver log property. Chrome driver log, not that one. Chrome driver silent output property. Sorry. Chrome driver silent output property, and you are making the log silent. So let's say true. Let's give true. Okay, true means silent. In double quotes you have to give true. That's it. Okay, this is the syntax. This is the syntax, guys. This is the way you have to give. Okay. So if you are getting any browser logs between this before logs and after logs, you can add this statement to disable those logs. Okay, when you add this statement, they will not get tracked. So let me run this just to confirm the same thing is happening. You will not see any logs anyhow. By default, also no logs were coming. But if in case if you are getting any logs, you can add the statement to avoid to disable those logs. This is a statement for disabling those logs, guys. Okay. Similarly, I have removed this statement which I added here. Similarly, if you want to, if any logs are coming in the output console, so we are not getting logs, but in any of your programs, if you are seeing any logs of Chrome browser logs, if you want them to get tracked in a separate log file, okay? If you want the logs to be tracked in a separate log file, so you can go to this logs folder, right click on logs, say new, and say file, say chrome.log. Click on finish. So we created a blank chrome.log file under this logs folder, and we'll configure this program in such a way that if in future, if any logs get Chrome browser logs get are getting displayed in the output console, instead of displaying them in the output console, they will be tracked in the chrome.log file. Okay. So for that, we have to add a statement, guys. In order to get the logs tracked in the chrome.log file, we have to add this statement. System.setProperty Chrome driver service Chrome driver log property, and you have to give the path of the log. System dot set property Chrome driver service. You don't have to remember all this stuff. Okay, just Chrome driver log property, and you have to give the path of the this log file, chrome.log file. For that, I will say system dot get property user.dir plus you have to give the path. So logs folder, under logs folder, we have this chrome.log. This is the path of the chrome.log. Now, guys, if any logs getting, if any Chrome browser logs are being printed, instead of getting printed in output console, they will be tracked in the chrome.log. Okay. Let's just for the sake, let's run it. Okay. Let's run it, this program, just for the sake, even though no logs are getting displayed in the output. Okay, after 3 seconds, the browser will close. Yeah, done. Here no logs, but let's open the chrome.log. Yeah, something got printed, guys, here. I don't know what is that. Okay, something got printed here. So is it correct or not? Chrome driver service, Chrome driver service, Chrome driver log property, system.get property user.direct. Okay, logs, chrome.log. There's something that is getting displayed, guys. I don't know what is that. So some browser logs, it seems they got enabled. So let's run it again and see whether the output what we saw in the chrome.log is coming again. Okay, done. Open the chrome.log. Yeah, some logs are getting tracked here, guys. Okay, I didn't see that earlier, but uh, some logs are getting tracked here. Okay, so Firefox logs got tracked earlier. In the last session, I explained you right how the Firefox logs got tracked here. Similar way, in chrome.log also, when we write this statement, some logs are getting tracked here. Okay, though no logs are getting printed in the output console, some logs are getting tracked when you give the path of this chrome.log file. Some Chrome browser logs are getting printed in the chrome.log file. Okay, so that thing is working. Now that's about the logs, guys. That's about the logs in Chrome browser. Okay, browser configurations in Chrome browser using Selenium. Now let's move to the next topic, that is disabling the web notification. It's about the notifications, guys. Notifications. How to disable the web notifications. First of all, let me copy this URL and manually open this URL in the Chrome browser. Okay. So let it load. After a while, you will get this notification, guys. This is a web notification that I am talking about. Okay. So while automating, if you get this kind of notification, you may not be able to proceed. Okay. Your automation code will not be able to proceed because this particular web notification will block the flow, automation flow. To avoid that, what you will do here is you will disable this notifications. Okay. Using Selenium, we can modify the browser configurations of Chrome in such a way that we can entirely disable this kind of web notifications. Okay, so when you disable the web notifications using Selenium in that particular program, and when you launch this Chrome browser, you will not see these notifications anymore. Okay, because you have gained some options using which the web notifications will get disabled in the Chrome browser using Selenium. Okay, fine. So you saw the web notifications now. Anyhow, now let's disable the web notifications, guys. Now let's disable the web notifications. How to disable the web notifications? Okay. Let me create another program. Right click, demo2, public, static, void main, string of args. So here, let me write the code. Driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Same code. Okay. I'll be writing in a quicker manner. Web driver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup driver dot manage dot window dot maximize driver dot get. So instead of this, I will be giving this URL, guys. The URL in which we are getting the web notification, I am just providing it here. When okay, I'm providing it here. So first of all, guys, so I will launch normally. Okay, I'll run this program normally to see whether even using the Selenium code we are getting that web notification or not. Okay, let's see that in action. So let me run this code. So it will launch the Chrome browser and it will open the jabang.com, and let's see whether we are getting the web notification while executing the script on the using Selenium on the Chrome browser. Okay, after a while, let's wait for a while. You see, you got the web notification. So using Selenium also, you're getting the not only manually but also while running the same script on this jabang.com using Selenium also, we are getting the same web notification on Chrome browser. To overcome that problem, while working with Selenium, we have to do some. We have to add some code to the or Selenium code. Okay, so that is you have to add this one. Chrome options is equal to new Chrome options. Okay, Chrome options is equal to from Selenium, guys. These are all from Selenium. Chrome options is from Selenium. Now we have to say options dot add arguments options dot add arguments. Here you have to give this value case. Okay, to disable the web notifications, you have to add this. That is nothing but hyphen disable hyphen notifications. Okay, just need to add that. That's it. And guys, one thing here, if you run this program, still you will face the same problem. Okay, let's run this. Okay, even after adding these two statements, you will face the same problem. Okay, let's run this. I'll tell you why. You see, after a while also, after let's wait for a while, you'll see the web notifications coming. Yeah, why? Even after adding this code also, you are getting the same web notifications. Why? Because you need to pass these options as a parameter to this constructor, guys. Okay, to this Chrome driver constructor, you need to pass this option. Then only this settings will be applied. Otherwise, this setting will not be applied. This disable notifications will not be applied to the Chrome browser if you do not pass these options into the Chrome driver. Okay, constructor. Now run it. After providing these options in the constructor, let's run it. We will not see the notifications, guys. They will be disabled. Now web notifications will be disabled. You see. Let's wait for a while to see whether any notifications are coming or not. So no notifications are coming, guys. We have waited for enough time. Okay, you see, no notifications are coming. That's how web notifications will be disabled using the Chrome browser. Okay, with these options, Chrome options. Fine. So let me remove this. Okay, remove this, or otherwise, same Chrome options will be there for other things. I will comment this statement. I will comment the second statement. Okay. So this is about the web notifications. Now let's move to the next one, guys. That is info bar. So guys, let's run this code. Okay, let's run this code normally. Let's run this code normally. What's happening, guys? While the code is getting run, you see this some notification is coming here. So what we call that? We call that as info bar. Okay, some info bar is coming here. Okay, what is that info bar? Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. While I'm executing my automation scripts on Chrome browser, I'm getting this info bar saying that it's suggesting telling the user that it's not the normal Chrome browser. Rather, this Chrome browser is being controlled by the Selenium. Okay, automated test software itself. If you don't want to, if you want to hide this, if you want to hide this kind of info bar, that is Chrome is being controlled by automated test info bar. Okay, further also we have an option, guys. That is, you have to create an object for this Chrome options as it is, as we did for the disable notifications. Okay, simply say options dot again add arguments, same thing. Here you need to give different thing. Instead of disable notifications, you have to give some other thing. What is that? That is nothing but disable info bars. Okay, instead of disable notifications, you have to say disable info bars. Hyphen disable hyphen info bars. Now let's run the code. This option is anyhow passed into the constructor already, so you don't have to pass again. This setting will be applied to the Chrome browser. Okay, let's run it. This time you will not see that info bar, guys. Okay, without info bar, you will see the Chrome browser. The Selenium is being controlled by Chrome browser. That automated software is not coming up. Okay, you can see that here, right? You may get the notification, but you will not get that info bar. Okay, so info bar is now. You can hide the info bar also. I just commented it so that it will not run. Now the next one. So whenever you run this code, observe that okay, the Chrome browser is initially opening in minimized mode. You see normal mode and then maximizing. Okay, by default it's not maximized, guys. I will remove this maximize comment. I will comment this maximization, so it will never maximize. Let me run it again. You see, the Chrome browser is not fully not opening in the fully maximized mode. Rather, it is kind of resized mode. It's opening, right? It's not fully maximized mode. But guys, if you want this Chrome browser to be opened in complete maximized mode, okay, in that case, you have to add the same thing. You have to create an object for the Chrome options, and this options dot, you have to say add arguments again. Okay, here some start maximized you have to add. Okay, hyphen start hyphen maximized. You are configuring the Chrome browser to be opened in the maximized mode by default. These options will be there anyhow in the Chrome driver. You should not forget this one. Otherwise, this setting will not be applied to this Chrome browser. Run this code. You see, this time the Chrome by default will be opened in the fully maximized mode. You see, it's not resized mode. It's come fully maximized mode. It got opened. Okay, this is how it works. Next one. Next one is proxy settings. Okay, next one is the proxy settings. So I explained what exactly are the proxy settings and proxy server concept I explained in the yesterday session, right? While explaining the proxy settings in Firefox browser, I explained what is a proxy server, what is security, all those stuff I explained, right? So if you don't remember what are proxy settings, you can refer to the yesterday's before session, okay? Session 96 session 96 you can refer where I explained about this proxy settings with the Firefox browser. Same thing, same concept, guys, when applied to the Chrome browser. Fine. So guys, how to set these proxy settings in Chrome browser? If you want to manually set without using Selenium, if you want to manually set, what you have to do is you have to open the Chrome browser. Okay. You have to open the Chrome browser first. Okay. Go to Chrome browser. Then go to the settings. Go to the settings. Scroll down. Click on the advanced. Scroll down. You see open proxy settings are there here. Click on this. It will open this one. Now under the connections tab, click on the LAN settings. You'll get this option. Now this is the proxy server. If you want to configure the proxy server in this browser, okay, you can select this option and give the details here. Okay, you can give the details here. 192.168. Something you can give anything. Some port number also you can give 9293, whatever that is. Okay, manually I'm giving, guys. Okay, it's like giving the things manually. I don't want to give that. Okay, I don't want to set the things manually. Why we need to set the proxy server? I explained in the yesterday session, right? Okay, for accessing some applications, you need to set this proxy server settings. Then only you will be able to access the application. Only few applications, guys, not all applications, as I explained in the yesterday session. Okay, fine. Now, so these settings we have to set, guys. Sometimes for accessing some applications, we need to set these proxy settings. Then only we can access the different the applications which need the proxy settings. Okay, proxy server settings that are required. So this thing I am doing it manually by manually opening the Chrome browser and then going to the proxy settings and then proxy settings and trying to set the things manually. But guys, if I want to do the same thing, if I want to do the same thing with the help of automation code, I will explain that. But guys, if, what will happen after setting the proxy server? When I try to launch this tutorialsninja.com/demo, what will happen? Let's see that. Okay, let's see the output. So I will set this. Okay, I will set this proxy settings now. Scroll down, advanced. So before setting the proxy settings, let me access this application URL. You see, you are able to properly access. Okay, because this application doesn't need any proxy server settings. This application doesn't have any proxy server in between. So since it doesn't have any proxy server, you don't have to set it, right? But intentionally, forcibly, I'm trying to set some proxy server. Okay, in this Chrome browser, I'm going to change the proxy settings. Even though there is no proxy server, I'm trying to set it. Okay, LAN settings, advanced. So this is already there. Click on OK. So it's set now. Say OK, OK. Now try to browse this one. What will happen? Let's see whether you will be able to open the application. You will be able to access the application or not via that proxy settings or not. Let's see. That proxy server is not there. So what will happen when you try to access this tutorialsninja.com/demo, which doesn't have any proxy server? It will not take you to that application because that is not the real path. Okay, so you'll get something like this: no internet. There is something wrong with the proxy server, or the address is not correct. There's no proxy server. That's why it's this kind of thing displayed. Okay, so proxy related errors are coming here. Okay, there is no way you can access this because this application doesn't have the proxy server. In real time, when you work in the real time, you may get some client may provide you an application where you have to set the proxy settings in order to access that application. In that case, the settings may work, but in this application doesn't have any proxy server. So when you intentionally try to give any proxy setting, this will lead to this kind of pages. Okay, so to confirm whether the proxy settings are set or not, okay, for this application, proxy settings are set in the Chrome browser using Selenium. Not to confirm that, if you get this kind of page, that means it is confirmed, right? So for now, I'll go to settings and remove the proxy settings first. Okay. While setting the same proxy settings in the Chrome browser using Selenium in Chrome browser, okay. So if you are getting the same page, this kind of no internet page, that means that proxy settings have been applied. Okay, we can confirm that. At least we can confirm that. I'm removing this. Now if you try to browse, you'll be able to browse because proxy settings got removed now. Okay, fine. Let's confirm that whether the really using this Chrome options the proxy settings are being set or not. Let's confirm that. Okay, the proxy settings are being set, then fine. You will get that no internet page. Let's confirm that. Okay, so here, so let's comment this one. These are the older ones. Okay, now let's write for proxy settings also we have to use this same Chrome options object options dot add arguments again. Add arguments double quotes. You have to give this thing guys hyphen proxy hyphen server. Okay, hyphen proxy hyphen server is equal to http :/ what is the IP address that you want set? 192.168.30.3 let's say, and the port number 9293 let's say. Okay, I want to set this IP address and port number. You can give any details guys, any other IP address you can give and any port number you can give, not a problem. These options are passed to this Chrome driver constructor. We have to cross check every time. Okay, let's run this. So if the proxy settings are being set using the Selenium code in the Chrome browser, then the tutorialsninjas.com/demo will not open here. Instead, you will get the no internet with the proxy error details. Okay, let's confirm that using that thing. Okay, it's trying to load, but it's not loading. You will get no internet error for sure. Using no internet error come and it's saying that proxy server details are set, which are wrong proxy settings. These are wrong proxy settings I gave, right? These are the wrong proxies. There is no particular proxy server which is existing with this IP address and port number. I just randomly give. So since it is not there, you are getting that kind of output. Okay. So now if I comment this out and run it, it will be opened properly. This time it will be open. You will be able to navigate to the application. Whatever the application is, the application will be navigated to. Maybe jabang.com or tutorialsninja.com/demo, because all this application doesn't have any proxy server. Okay, fine, done. Next one. Proxy, we are done with the proxy settings. Now let's move to the next concept, that is profiles. Next concept is profiles. So in Firefox browser, in the last session I explained, right, that we can create multiple profiles in Firefox browser. But in Chrome also we can in Chrome also we can create multiple profiles. But the process is different. In Chrome, the process is the way we create the profiles in multiple profiles in Chrome browser is different from that of Firefox browser. So how to create multiple profiles in Chrome browser manually? I'm going to show that. Okay, let me create multiple profiles. So let me open the Firefox, this Chrome browser. Here you can see some current user icon is there. User icon is there. Okay, current user is this one. And here, after clicking on this one, you will get this manage people option. So this is what is a default profile. This is a default profile which I didn't create, guys. Okay, which I didn't create. It's there by default. Whenever you have installed Chrome browser, this came by default. Now let's add multiple profiles. To add multiple profiles, click on this add person. Let me give some names. One name as Arun, and let me select this gravatar icon. Okay, I don't want to create any shortcuts on my desktop, so simply say add. Okay, a brand new profile will be created. Okay, brand new profile will be created. It is saying to turn on sync, not now I'll say. So this is a browser. Okay, similarly again click on the same thing and then go to manage people. Now you see you have two profiles, default profile and Arun profile is there. Now let me add multiple, again click on the add person to add a different profile. Let me give the name as Dheeraj, and I will select this green gravatar icon, and I don't want a shortcut to be created on my desktop. Click on add. This is another brand new profile got created. This is how, guys, you can create multiple profiles, not now. Okay. Another profile let's create. Click on this icon again and manage people. Now we already have three profiles. One is default and two are newly created Chrome browser profiles. Let's create one more. Let me give the name as Madhuri, and let me select this red. Okay, and don't create a shortcut on my desktop. Add another new profile for Madhuri with the profile name Madhuri is getting created. Like this, guys. Now when I go to manage people, how many profiles are there? Default, Arun, Dheeraj, Madhuri. 4 profiles are there. Okay, 1 default and 3 newly created profiles. This is how you can manually create profiles in your Chrome browser. You see, guys, What is the advantage of those profiles? Now I have 4 profiles in my Chrome browser. What is the advantage? Advantage is that different people can use different profiles. In the same machine, different people can use Chrome browser with different profiles. For example, this is a default profile, okay? And at same time, I want to use one more profile. So let's say, click on the Arun profile. You see, here default profile is already there. Along with that, Arun profile is there now here, okay? So in default profile, the default profile, let me say I'm accessing Selenium by Arun. This URL I'm accessing, okay? The default profile, this application is open. So in Arun profile, I want to open QAFox.com. Okay, QAFox.com. Similarly, I can launch more profiles. Simultaneously can use multiple profiles in your machine, guys. Okay. In this, I want to access Facebook. Let's say I want to access Facebook. So multiple profiles, I can, you say default is there, default is already there, then Arun profile is there, Dheeraj profile is using a Facebook. At the same time, Madhur profile can use LinkedIn. Like this, guys, in a single machine, you can have multiple profiles. This profile is independent of this profile, and this profile is independent of this profile. Okay. In Chrome browser, you are able to open multiple profiles. You can work on any of this profile. Okay, simultaneously. In one profile, you can watch some videos. In one profile, you can go through the blogs. Okay, in one profile, you can access the Facebook. In one profile, okay, like that. You can you can launch multiple profiles. Okay, simultaneously, you can use the multiple profiles. This is in Chrome browser. Okay, fine. So that is a concept of profiles, guys. It's there by default in the machines, in our machines. Fine. Now let's use Selenium to launch the default profile. Okay. So whenever you execute the scripts in Chrome, okay, when let me execute the scripts in Chrome. Let's say, let me execute the scripts in Chrome. So no profile is coming, guys. Okay, no profile is coming. Okay, Selenium will launch its own profile every time. Selenium will create a new profile and launch it. It is not related to what is there in our machines. Okay, irrespective of the profiles that we have in your machines, say, Chrome browser, Chrome profiles in your machine, Selenium will launch its own profile, brand new profile every time. Okay, that's what Selenium does by default. But if you want the default profile to be open, a default profile. So if you launch here, this is a default profile, guys. This is a default profile. Okay, manage profiles, and this is a default profile. Okay, this is a default profile. So in order to launch the default profile, what we have to do here is we have to open the Chrome browser. Okay. So we have to run this command, that is Chrome:/version hyphen. Okay. Chrome:/version. Enter. So when you after launching the default profile manually, and when you hit this command Chrome:/version, you will get these details. Okay. If you carefully observe, some profile path is there. Okay, default profile path is provided here. That is C users. So something is there till the default is there. Okay, you can go to this path, guys. You can go to this path in your folder, in your machine. You can go to this Chrome driver path. Okay, it will take you here. Okay, this is the default profiles data. Under user, there's a default folder. Okay, this is a default profile folder. Similarly, I created multiple profiles, guys. Right? Similarly, I created multiple profiles. For them, you see profile 4, profile 5, profile 6. Maybe profile 4 is belonging to Arun, profile 5 is something belonging to Dheeraj profile, and profile 6 is something belonging to Madhuri profile. Like that, multiple profiles can be created. Okay, default profile is something which is there already by default. In this default profile, some folders are already there. Okay, fine. So in this path, when you hit this command, when you are getting the profile path, copy up to here, guys. Don't copy the default folder. Okay, up to here, from C to user data / up to here, copy that. Okay, now come here and say options dot add arguments, options dot add arguments. Here in double quotes, you have to give the statement that is user hyphen data hyphen dir is equal to what are the path you copied just now, whatever the path you copied. Don't copy this default folder, okay? Only up to user data you have to copy, okay? And then paste here. Automatically double slash will be added. Put a semicolon, okay? Options dot add argument user data directory is equal to this path. This is the default folder, default Chrome browser path, okay? Default Chrome browser path. Now this options is already set to the Chrome driver already. So simply when you run this one, it will launch the default. So before executing the script, you have to make sure that no Chrome browser is opened, guys. No Chrome browser should be opened. If it is open, it will not run. Okay, this script will not run. If any Chrome browser is open, it will not run. So make sure that you have to close all the Chrome browsers before trying to execute this kind of scripts, profile scripts. Default profile will be launched now. Okay, when I execute the script, default profile will be launched. You see, default profile got launched. Okay, neither Arun, Dheeraj, Madhuri, but only default profile got launched. Similarly, if I want to launch a specific profile, okay, let's say I want to launch Arun profile. Instead of default profile, I want to launch Arun profile. For that, what you have to do here, open this Chrome browser, click on this, and click on this Arun. Okay, click on this Arun. So this is Arun's profile. This is Arun's profile, right? So here you have to say Chrome colon double slash version. You have to say Chrome colon double slash version. You'll get the profile path, and Arun profile is having the path like this. See users, Arun name, app data, and up to user and profile 4. Okay, profile 4. Go to this path in your machine. Go to your path in your machine. When you go to this path, you will see all these files, guys. So what you have to do here is there's something you have to do before actually executing the script directly. You cannot directly copy this path and then run the script to open this profile, guys. Rather, what you have to do is you have to go to this path, whatever the path that is coming up, you have to go to this path in your machine and right click here and say new and create a default folder, guys. This is must for newly created profiles. Okay, you have to create a default profile. Default folder. Where is that default? Yeah, default folder, and move all these files into the default folder. Sorry, you have to close all the browsers to perform this operation. Try again. So simply move all the files into this default folder under the profile folder. Okay, under profile folder, no file should be there other than default folder. All the files should be moved to the default folder. Similarly, do the same thing for other profiles also. Go to user, go to profile file, and here also create a default folder. And now after creating the default folder, copy all these files. Move all these files into the default. Okay, move all these files into the default folder. Under profile folders, no file should be there. Everything should be under the default folder of that profile folder. Again, here also for profile 6 also create a default folder. Okay, all the profile folders we have created default folder and moved all the files in the profile folders to the default folder. This is a prerequisite guide. Prerequisite. Okay, now open the Arun profile, let's say, and here you can say Chrome version, Chrome colon double slash version. This is a path. Copy this complete path, guys. Copy this complete path, and in the options dot add argument, this is a path for the default browser, default Chrome browser. Remove this path and paste the new profile profile 4 path, that is Arun profile path, and add double slash at the end of the profile 4. Okay, so now run it. So before running, you have to close all the Chrome browsers which are active. Okay, so now run it. This time, this automation code will open the Arun profile. Let's see. You see Arun profile, blue color. Blue color stands for Arun profile, right? Arun profile got opened. Now, similarly, if you want to launch other profile, let's say. So let's say Madhuri profile you want to launch. Okay. In that case, Again, Chrome :/version you have to give, and it will give the path of this profile. Madhuri profile is there in the profile 6. Copy this. Okay, copy this and paste it here. And at the end, / you have to say, and close all the active browsers. Now run it. This time it should launch the which profile? Madhuri profile it has to launch, which is in pink color also. Okay. Let it launch. So after click on this, you see pink color. This Madhuri profile is launched. Similarly, other profile, that is Dheeraj profile. If you want to launch the Dheeraj profile, go to the browser, open this Dheeraj profile. In the Dheeraj profile, type Chrome : version. You will get the path of the profile for profile path. Copy this path, that is profile 5 path. Okay. Close all these active windows of Chrome browser. Sorry. And paste the path. Paste the path of the profile 5 folder, that is Dheeraj path, Dheeraj profile path. Now, since no browsers are open, run this code. You see that this time Dheeraj profile will be launched. The automation code will run on the which profile? Specific profile, that is green color, that is Dheeraj profile. Like this, guys, you can, like this, guys, you can actually create multiple profiles in Chrome browser, and you can make the Selenium to launch the automation scripts in specific profile. Why you have to launch the automation scripts in specific profiles, guys? Because in some situations you may do some custom settings to particular Chrome browser in which the Selenium automation scripts need to be run. Such kind of situations, you have to create such kind of profiles, apply the customizations like settings, add-ons, or whatever that is required in that browser. Okay, Chrome browser profile, and then launch the automation scripts on that Chrome browser profile. Okay, so that's the advantage of executing the automation scripts on specific profiles in your machine. Fine. Let me comment this out, and fine. Now next one. That's about the profiles, guys. Okay, we are able to launch the specific profiles. So since it is already done, so I will delete the profiles which I created. For deleting the profile, open any Chrome browser and go to the manage people. Okay, other than default profile, click on these 3 dots and then remove. Manage people. Remove this. Remove this person. Okay, only default profile is there now. And at the same time, you have to go to your C drive, program files, Google, Chrome, application. What is that? What is the path, guys? I forgot. Chrome version. C users. You have to go to C users. Okay. C drive users. You have to go. C users are on app data, I guess. Local. This is a path. Okay. Google. From here, you have to go to Google, and then Chrome, and then user data. This is a default one. Any profiles are there? Just check out. All the profiles got deleted, guys. When I deleted the profiles here, the Chrome browser, they got deleted automatically in this place. You don't have to delete the default folder, okay, which is a default browsers. Okay, that's it. So just make sure that all the profiles got deleted in that profiles folder. Okay, Chrome browsers folder. Fine. Now, few more things are left. That is certificates. How to handle the certificates in Chrome browser. Let's open this QAFox, okay, application in Chrome browser over the HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol. http://www.qafox.com. When you open this application on the QAFox application on the Chrome browser, okay, on HTTP protocol, you will not get any certificate errors because this application doesn't have any certificate installed in SSL certificate installed in the web server. Okay, it's a non-secured one. So in order to make it secure, you have to install the SSL certificate, and then only this application will become secure. Okay, that's not to us. It's not about us. Okay, few banks like as I explained in the yesterday session that if few banks like HDFC Bank, okay, have the certificates installed. So they operate on the HTTPS rather than HTTP. Okay, HTTP means non-secure protocol. Hypertext transfer protocol without security is HTTP. Whereas HTTPS is HTTPS stands for security. Okay, like that. So, but since this application doesn't have any SSL certificate installed on its web server, and when you try to open this using HTTP, okay, you will not face any problems. You will not face any problems. Since no certificate is there, HTTP protocol will be there. But if you forcibly change this HTTP to HTTPS, even though the application doesn't have SSL certificate installed on its web server, even if you are trying to access it over the HTTPS and try to access it like this, you'll get the certificate error. Okay, this is nothing but the certificate error, guys. Okay, manually I'm showing the certificate error in Chrome browser. This application doesn't have SSL certificate and you are forcibly trying to access using HTTPS, which is only possible if the application has a SSL certificate installed on its web server. Okay. Since you are going against its policy, you are getting this certificate error because there is no certificate available. Okay. So in the real time, when you try to automate the scripts, okay, automate the scripts, if you provide this HTTPS URL for the applications which doesn't have SSL certificate installed in its web server, you will get this kind of errors, guys, and you may not be able to see the application page and you will not be able to proceed. Okay, how to handle such kind of certificates, even though you are using HTTPS for the application which doesn't have SSL certificate, is what this certificate is about. By default, guys, okay, by default, guys, Chrome browser is able to handle that. Okay, you don't have to do any particular settings in the Chrome browser. So you can see here. So here, what you call, I'll normally run this code. Okay, normal code this is. So here I will say, if I say http://www.cacert.com, you'll not get a certificate errors anyhow because the protocol is HTTP. Since the application doesn't have the SSL certificate installed on its web server, there will not be any issues anyhow. Okay, you can run this. You can run this, and I can show you. You can see that. Okay, since no certificates are there, you are accessing over HTTP, which is a non-secure protocol. That's fine. You will not get any issues. But manually, when I try to access this using HTTPS, I was getting some certificate error, right? Manually, if I try to open this HTTPS for the application which doesn't have SSL certificate installed in its web server, if I try to do it manually, I'm getting certificate error manually. But the same URL with HTTPS in the Selenium code will not give you the errors, guys, because Selenium is handling the certificate error itself. Okay, it's not it's taking care of the certificate error. You see, when I try to access this, I'm not getting any certificate error, even though it's accessing the over the HTTPS protocol for the application which doesn't have SSL certificate installed in its web server. Okay, so I don't have to do anything here. So by default, it is taking care of the certificate errors. That's fine. Next one is page load strategy. Next one is page load strategy. So what is this page load strategy? I'll give this code, or else I'll go to this demo. I'll remove this part. Okay. So this automation code, which is there in the demo, will open this application like tutorialsninja.com/demo and type Samsung and then click on the button. All these operations are being done. Here, while the application is loading, these statements will not be executed. While this particular application is still loading in the browser, these statements will be in the waiting queue, and once after only the Selenium has completed this particular statement, that application is completely loaded in the browser, then only these statements will be executed on the browser. The statements will be executed on the browser only when the particular application URL is completely loaded in the browser, right? In the Chrome browser. To modify that, default behavior, we have to add this thing. Okay, you have to say Chrome options is equal to new Chrome options. This concept I explained in the Firefox browser also, guys. Okay, page load strategy concept I explained in the Firefox browser also in the last session. Now you can say options dot add arguments or no options dot set page load strategy. Okay, here you have to say page load strategy dot eager, you have to say. Okay, when you say page load strategy dot eager, and then if you pass this option to this what you call Chrome driver constructor. Okay, Control Shift O to load all the libraries, required libraries. Fine. Okay, when I run this one, before even this application is completely loaded in the browser, these statements will start executing, guys. Okay, that's how we change the page load strategy, which I explained in the last session also. Okay, in the Chrome browser, in the Firefox browser, I explained in the last session. In the Chrome browser, this is the way you have to do it. So we are getting some issue. Okay, some issue is there. What is that? Yeah, you will get an issue, guys. Sorry. In Chrome browser, you cannot change the eager strategy because it's not yet implemented, guys. I forgot. It's not yet implemented in Chrome browser. The issue that we are getting is you will get an exception saying that it's not yet only Firefox browser. This eager strategy is possible, guys. But in Chrome browser, it's not possible because when you try to implement that, you will get this exception saying you'll get an exception saying it is not yet implemented. Okay. you can see the exception details here. Somewhere it will say that it is not yet implemented. That logic for page load strategy eager is not yet implemented, not yet supported by Chrome browser yet. Okay, not yet implemented in the Chrome browser. So that is not possible in Chrome browser. I forgot. Okay, fine, guys. So you cannot modify the page load strategy in the Chrome browser. So this is useless. Only in Firefox browser you can change the page load strategy, but in Chrome browser it's not possible. Okay, it's not possible. Now the next one. This kind of example I have already given in the Firefox browser. When your application code, the application Selenium code is not able to launch the Chrome browser as the exe file is not foundable by the Selenium automation code. In that case, you have to manually specify the path of the Chrome browser exe file. Okay, Chrome browser exe file. By default, if this code is not running, if the Chrome browser is not getting launched using the default code, okay, most cases, guys, that is a 99.999% cases, okay, this will not happen. But in very rare cases, if such kind of situation if you face, okay, the default Selenium automation code is not able to launch the Chrome browser from you in your machine, in any specific machine. In that case, you have to provide the path of the Chrome browser exe file here. Okay, how to do that? Options dot set binary. Chrome options is equal to new Chrome options. You have to create this, import this from Selenium. Now you have to say options dot set binary. Set binary. You have to give the path of the Chrome driver dot exe, Chrome browser dot exe. Where you will find the Chrome browser, guys? Go to your C drive. Go to your C drive and program files. Google Chrome application. This is a Chrome application. This is the path, guys, of Chrome application. Okay. So give the path here. Give the path. Say /chrome.exe. Okay. This is the path of the Chrome, and give these options in the constructor, Chrome driver constructor. Then only this setting will be applied. Otherwise, this setting will not be applied. You have to cross check every time, guys. You see, if you are able to run with this, that means here this particular automation code is being run on the Chrome browser with the help of the provided path of the Chrome.exe path. Okay, Chrome.exe path. It's taking the Chrome.exe path, which we have provided manually in the Selenium code. Okay, that's it. So that's it about the Chrome browser, guys. That's about the Chrome browser, how to perform different browser configurations on Chrome browser using Selenium. That's all about. Now, let's move to the next one, that is IE browser. How to perform different browser configurations on IE browser using Selenium. It doesn't take much time because most of the options will not be supported in IE browser. Okay. Most of the browser configurations will not be supported in IE browser, so it will not take much time. So let's continue with that and finish in this particular session itself. Okay. So for IE browser, how you are going to change the browser configurations using Selenium in IE browser is the topic. Make sure that you have the latest IE browser before proceeding with the below things. So how to do that? Internet. Just search for Internet Explorer here. Okay, this is Internet Explorer browser. For now, we can pin to taskbar for a while. Okay, this has been pinned. Open this IE browser. So how to check the version, guys? How to check the version of the IE browser? Which version of IE browser you have? Go to help and say about Internet Explorer. you'll get this dialog, Internet Explorer level dialog. You have the 11, guys. 11 is the latest version of IE browser. Okay, in Windows 10, Windows 10 is the latest OS of Windows, and in that Windows 10, IE 11 is the latest one, and we have the up-to-date version. Okay, up-to-date version. So this is the latest version of IE browser. You don't have to do anything. And also, guys, we have to make sure that in order to execute our automation scripts, Selenium automation scripts in IE browser, we have to confirm these two settings. Okay, otherwise you will face some problems in future. While I'm explaining these things, you may face, if you are facing any problem, means these two things are not verified. First thing we have to verify is that we have to verify whether all the security zones are enabled. Open the IE browser, go to tools, internet options. This dialog will come up. In this, go to security tab. In that, we have these 4 options. Zone options are there. Okay, these are 4 zones: internet zone, local internet, trusted site, and STC sites are the 4 different zones. Select each and every zone and confirm that enable protected mode is selected or not. You have to, this option should be selected. Similarly, go to the local internet and also say in this local internet also this enable protected mode should be selected. Trusted sites also enable protected mode should be selected. Restricted sites also enable protected mode should be selected. This you have to confirm that. Okay, and also go to this settings option. Okay, click on the settings option on the right side and make sure that the zoom level is set to 100%. Okay, it should not be 90% or 120% or other percentage. It should be 100%, guys. Otherwise, our automation code will fail in Selenium. Okay, you have to make sure these 2 settings before proceeding. Now, guys, let's go with performing different browser configurations. Okay, performing different browser configurations on IE browser using Selenium. Let's start with the logs. Let's start with the logs. So let's first create a package here under src test Java. Right click new package QAFox browser configurations.ie. Under this, create a new demo class, public static void main string of ox. So here I have to write some code. WebDriver driver is equal to new Internet Explorer driver. Import this WebDriver, import this IE driver. WebDriver manager dot IE driver dot setup, you have to say. Then driver dot manage dot window dot maximize driver dot get driver dot get. Here I will write p://www.tutorialsninja.com/demo. I will say. Okay. Then what I have to do? Driver dot find element by dot name. So I'll do this stuff, right? I'll go to this tutorialsninja.com/demo application. So here I will type Samsung and click on the search button. I have to do that. Okay, right click inspect. You already know that it has this one. We already did that, so I will directly write that by dot name. It was search, right? The value of the name property was search dot send keys. Here I have to type what text? Samsung text. And similarly, I need to click on the, after that I have to click on the search button, find element by dot CSS selector, double quotes. I have to say I class ends with FA-search. Okay, I remember this one, guys. That's why I gave here dot click. I have to give dot click. Now, for demonstration purpose, I will say thread dot sleep. So, okay, 3 seconds. For 3 seconds, I am intentionally sleeping, and then driver dot bit I will add. That's it, guys. This is a normal program. This is a normal program to learn the automation scripts in IE browser and then open this application and do these operations on the IE browser and finally quit. Okay. So what I will do, I will try to track the logs before and after logs. Okay, so system.out.println before logs. In the output console, if you get any logs between before logs, after logs, let's find it out whether any logs are getting tracked in the output console of the this Eclipse or not. Okay, so after logs, save it and run it. So iBrowser will launch, and let's see any logs are getting displayed between the browser logs are getting iBrowser logs are between before logs and after logs system statements. It has to type Samsung. It's not typing. Something went wrong, it seems. Yeah, something went wrong. No such element. Unable to find name search. Maybe this may be small search, guys. I don't remember. Let me close and again run it. Yeah, small search. Done. After 3 seconds, it will close. So you see in the output console before logs and after logs, nothing got displayed. Okay, nothing got displayed. That means no browser logs are getting printed in the output console. That's fine. But guys, can we track the IE browser logs? Can we track the IE browser logs in a separate log file? I think yes. Okay. So under the logs folder, which we have created already, right click on the logs folder and say new file IE.log. IE.log. This is a blank file now. Okay. So we'll provide some browser configurations using Selenium in such a way that all these browser logs will be nothing, no logs are getting displayed here, but we want some logs, IE browser logs to be tracked in the IE.log. Let's see how to do that. These are the options you have to provide. System.set property info logs. You are enabling the info logs, guys. You are enabling the logs and you are trying to get the info logs. Okay, and log file you are setting the path to this IE.log. Let's write these two statements, guys. It will after writing these two statements in our Selenium programs, you will see some, when you execute the script, you will see some logs tracked in the IE.log. Okay, system.set property, this one. Okay, so here you have to say, you don't have to give double quotes, Internet Explorer driver service, Internet Explorer driver service dot log level. I am setting the log level to info. In double quotes, you have to give the info in caps. Okay, in caps. So info level logs. If you want to change the log level to debug or error or fatal, you can give it. Okay, but now info means everything will come up. All the logs belonging to the IE browser will be coming up. Set property Internet Explorer driver service dot IE log file property you have to give. You have to provide the path of the log file. How to give? System dot get property. Here you have to give user dot dir. Then I have to give plus and double slash logs folder double slash IE.log. Okay, that's it. So we have given the path of the log file. Okay, we have set the logs. Now when you run it, okay, before running the script, this IE.log file is empty. But after running it, whatever the logs, IE browser logs that need to be tracked will be tracked in the IE.log file. Okay, let's see. Let the automation code get executed completely. Let the browser close. You see, nothing got printed between the before logs, after logs, but in the IE.log, you see, a lot of logs got tracked here. IE browser logs got tracked here. This is how you can track the logs in a separate log file in IE browser. Now, next thing is page load strategy. You cannot apply any page load strategy which is not supported by IE browser, guys. Okay, you cannot do this configuration using Selenium in the IE browser because page load strategy is not supported by IE. Similarly, you cannot give the path of the IE browser exe file in Selenium. Okay, you cannot do that because it's not supported by IE. And coming to notifications, notifications are also not supported by IE by default. You will not see any notifications in IE browser, hence it's not required to be set. Coming to the proxy server settings. Okay, Okay, coming to the proxy settings, you can do this. You can do the proxy settings, but I cannot demonstrate here, guys. Okay, if I try to demonstrate here, my recording will stop. Okay, I cannot show that over the recording. Okay, because my internet connections will close and nothing will work over the internet. Okay, because I don't have a valid proxy server. Fine. So, but if you want to set the proxy settings using Selenium, okay, how to set manually I will show you. After that, using automation code, how to set the proxy settings in your IE browser using Selenium code also I will explain. Okay, so what are proxy settings? You already know. As part of the last session, I explained what is proxy server and all those stuff. Okay, if not, you can go back to that and understand what actually proxy settings and why are they required to access the applications. Okay, for security reasons and all. Okay, so I cannot demonstrate and show you here because my recording will stop. That's not possible anyhow. Okay, so instead what I will do here is I will manually show you how to set the proxy settings in your. So in your IE browser, there will be some proxy settings already. Okay, so what actually this Selenium will do here is, instead of setting the proxy settings to specific IE browser, it will go to the settings in your computer. This is Windows 10 settings. It will go directly to Windows 10 settings, and if you search for proxy, this kind of proxy details it will go, and you see use a proxy server is there, right? It will enable this and type this. Okay, HTTP and then the address of the proxy server and port number of the proxy server and all. Okay, I'm showing you how to set the proxy settings in for IE browser. I'm showing you from the Windows machine. Okay, so you have to set the proxy settings like that manually. The same thing, if you want to do the same kind of settings using Selenium, you have to write this code. Okay, you have to write this code. Lot of code is there, guys. You can access this file. Okay, string proxy is equal to, you have to give this IP address and port number. Then proxy is equal to new proxy. Then proxy dot set auto detect false. You have to say proxy dot. Simply copy paste this code into your Selenium code, guys. Wherever you want to set the proxy settings, you can simply copy paste this code. Okay, up to here, and pass these options into the Internet Explorer driver constructor. You don't forget this one. All this code along with these options. You can modify the IP address of your proxy server and port number of the proxy server. Okay, and everything will be remaining the same. Okay, all this code you have to blindly copy paste and then provide these options as a parameter into the constructor, and provide your proxy server IP address and port number. That's what you have to do. Okay, and run the code. That will automatically set the proxy settings while automating the code. Okay, so sometimes you have to access the applications over the proxy server only. Otherwise, some clients will provide some applications for testing. Okay, which require the proxy server settings to be done before accessing. If you don't provide the proxy server settings, the applications may not be accessible. Okay, so you will not be able to test. Even the automation scripts will not run because without that proxy settings. Manually you can do that, but automation wise also, if you want to automatically set those proxy settings while accessing such kind of applications which require the proxy server settings, then you have to write this code. Right? Then last one, guys, that is certificates. The last browser configuration options in IE browser using Selenium is the certificates. Let me complete this one. So let me demonstrate this manually. First, I will demonstrate this manually. So csr.org application doesn't have any SSL certificate installed on its web server, so it will be accessed over HTTP protocol. Okay, HTTP protocol. So http://www.cert.org. Since there is no SSL certificate installed on the web server of the csr.org application, the default protocol that will be used for accessing this kind of applications is HTTP protocol, which is non-secured protocol. You'll be able to access the application and go here and there. Okay, and how the security reasons will come into picture, I explained in the last session. Okay, you can go through that using Firefox. I explained all the concepts of certificates. Okay, you can go through that. Fine, but guys, since this application doesn't have an SSL certificate installed in its web server, but still if you want to access it over the HTTPS protocol, which is secured layer of protocol, you'll get a certificate error. Okay, certificate error. How to handle such kind of certificate errors? How to handle such kind of certificate errors in IE browser when running the Selenium automation code? is what we have to deal with. This error, even though this error comes, we should be in a position to overcome this error. Okay. If you still access an application which doesn't have SSL certificate installed on its web server over the HTTPS protocol, okay, you'll get this error, but you have to write the automation in code in such a way that this error will be overcome and you have to move forward. I'll explain that. So using Selenium, I'll demonstrate the certificate error first. It will not be resolved by default. You'll get the certificate error if you don't handle it. So, okay, I'll remove all this stuff. It's not required now. Logs and all those stuff. Okay, I'll make it simple. Any options is there? No. Okay. Okay, I will access this. I have to access the. I will first access the http://www.csr.org. This is a normal application, guys. No SSL installed certification installed application, and we are trying to access on normal protocol, which is non-secure protocol. You will not get any certificate. You will not get any certificate error because you are accessing this non-SSL installed certificate installed application over the normal protocol itself. You will not get any certificate errors, right? Okay. Let me run this. You will not get any certificate errors because you are trying to access the non-SSL certificate installed application on the HTTPS normal protocol. HTTP normal protocol. You will not get any certificate errors because you are accessing in a proper way. You see, you are not getting an error. But guys, if you try to access the same application which doesn't have SSL certificate installed on its web server over the HTTPS protocol, which is secure layer of protocol, then when you run it, you will get certificate error. You will not be able to proceed forward after that error. Okay. You see, the site is not secure and you will not be able to proceed. To overcome that problem, still after this, if you want to still go forward in such kind of situations, guys, you have to add this statement. Okay. After this certificate error, this is a place where you are while accessing this application over HTTPS protocol, you are getting the certificate error at this point. And immediately after the step, you have to add driver.get. In this, you have to write some JavaScript code to overcome that error. JavaScript : document dot get element by ID. Get element by ID, and you have to give the ID as override link. Override link dot click. This is one of the JavaScript statement, guys. Okay, click method this is and semicolon. Okay, complete JavaScript statement. This is a JavaScript statement. Okay, so if you are getting such a certificate error at this point, okay, to overcome that, you have to add this statement immediately after the certificate error statement. You have to add this statement so that certificate error will be handled. Run this code and see the output. You got a certificate error, but after a while, you see it should be resolved, guys. It's not getting resolved. Did I do any mistakes? I'll copy paste this one, JavaScript : document got ID, all those stuff. Let me copy paste here. Save it. Now let me run it again. It generally works, but I don't know why it's not working here. Yeah, it's working, guys. Maybe some mistake in this part, JavaScript part. I did a mistake here. Maybe when I copied the actual code, it's working fine. Even though you got a certificate error, you are able to proceed, right? That's what you have to do, guys. So that's it, guys. I explained in all the three browsers how to perform different browser configurations using Selenium, right? On Firefox, and Chrome, and IE. In the last session, I covered Firefox. In this session, I covered Chrome and IE browsers. That's it, guys. See you. Thank you. Bye.